That schoolboy defending.
This season, try PointsBet's NFL Bet Tracker. Bet on NFL markets like passing yards or receptions and follow them live in the PointsBet app. Available on singles, multis and same-game multis. PointsBet. Built different. Imagine what you could be buying instead.
Oh, here we go. We're back and we are live. We got the big sip in the building. We got a few special guests on the way. We got one in studio and majority online. I got a few special guests for you, Sip.
Wow.
I haven't told you. I've gone full producer mode today.
Jeez.
There's been a bit of conversation over the last couple of weeks, so we've got a couple of guests that you will love. But most importantly, we know NFL. There's some diehards out there, so we had to get a live show going so we can get some questions in, get back to them. We might even send a few people a link if they're lucky and get them on the show. But pretty pumped. We've got our first guest. We'll get to him soon, but the Meatball's going to roll in very shortly, mate. I've been told he's around the corner, so he might even be on the door soon.
Beautifully. It's great.
Let's start though. Big week.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's a lot to get through. I haven't prepared too many notes on last week. There's a lot to get to for this week coming up. But I thought, me personally, I got it wrong big time with the Rams. Yeah. Happy to wear the Chargers because I didn't like that game. I said that's a flip. Yeah. But the Rams absolutely smoked the Vikings.
Yep.
And I got it right with Washington, but not as much as I got it wrong with Rams. I was pretty flat with myself, but you were all over the Rams.
Yeah, I was very happy with the Rams call, to be honest. I just thought that, as I said last week, Vikings going in, struggling, and it's a big game to go and play when you've been beaten up as bad as what you did, and then you're going to go and deliver it on the big stage week one of the playoffs. So Rams were in good touch, and the game against Philly is going to be pretty big this week. So I was very happy with that call.
That's another one. Philly were disappointing.
A little bit
offensively. Jalen looked rusty. AJ Brown's reading a book. We'll get to that in a second. It's up 53 million% or something online.
It is unbelievable. Numbers are huge all of a sudden.
And you sent me something about how he hurt his knee during the week. So I didn't like his matchup. I liked Smith's.
Yeah.
Saquon. What about the bet I sent you? I needed Saquon.
That was hilarious.
I needed Saquon Barkley for 120,
mate,
and he went for 119 and kneeled at the end.
He was home too. That was hilarious.
That was sickening.
And all you hear is Devontae Smith and that on the sideline. Why are you going? I'm like, that's funny.
The only reason I thought was maybe a hamstring.
Well, I didn't. I just think that they wanted. It's just purely ice in the game. That's it. No timeouts left for Green Bay. There's a minute on the clock. You just take the knee and that's it. Game over. Don't give him a chance at all to give him the ball back or anything odd that can happen. But
even go down to the one.
Just run it all the way and just be in chill mode a little bit. But pretty funny stuff. You're a bit unfortunate there, mate.
Well, it's not only me. I've read all the comments online. Yeah. I must say, if you want to have a laugh, go to the Steelers full time post. Oh, that's a beauty. That one's it. But the comments from the punters online, and obviously America now, you can obviously gamble responsibly. Be powered here by PointsBet, our friends. But there's a lot of punters that had Saquon Barkley anytime touchdown score in everything. Yes. In their parlays, as they call them. And
I may have had them in a couple too. I don't know.
And they were filthy. They were like, filthy. Just go all the way. It would have been a perfect finish.
I mean, especially when you're up 22-10 and then the game is probably over. Just run it over and really just put the score up a little bit more for you boys. But not to be. Pretty funny stuff, though.
It's good to have a few people in the chat. Willie Ward, we've got Sam Casey there, and even Tyler.
Go Giants.
Go Giants.
Well, you can say that as much as you like, pal.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure who's worse. I brought in one of my. I brought in a jersey. We might have to give this one away because no one else wants it. Maybe we get the Meatball on that because I think he might be around the corner. So the Meatball, I've just been told, is in the building. He'll be here in 2 minutes. But let's keep going through the games last week quickly. Yep. Ravens. I didn't dominant. Sweat the whole time.
Yeah, dominant.
They could have been better on offense, just dominant.
Yeah, no, they did their thing, particularly, first half. They kind of set the tone there, really, and then just managed the clock really, really well and were just in control the whole time. So the Ravens played outstanding and they set it up beautifully for what's going to be a ripper game against the Bills. So that's huge.
What are you more looking forward to, the Bills playing the Ravens or the Ravens playing the Chiefs next week?
No, I'm excited for this one. This is a ripper. This is the two MVP candidates that I'm super pumped with. But At the same time, I'm like, damn, it kind of sucks because you're going to have to go into Chiefs land after probably getting pretty banged up. I'm going to assume it's going to be pretty physical. And, that's going to be an interesting one. But I can't wait for that game. That's going to be a ripper.
I'm quietly confident. It's
Yeah,
good to
I'm
see the
confident.
Ravens are favourites.
Yeah,
but
I'm confident
the run
in
defense,
the Ravens.
The run defense, it's not a good matchup for the Bills.
Nah, it's not.
Because they need Cook to get going.
Yeah,
and
they do.
I don't know who their weapons are outside.
Well, look, I just think the way we spoke about it a few weeks ago, I just think the way when the Ravens now changing on defense with Hamilton literally playing that safety role is a huge thing that's changed up dramatically for the defense of the Ravens. And it's been, I think they're number 2 or something on defense since they've made that change. And it's just made it 10 times harder for offenses to get going now. So Josh Allen is definitely going to have to be the guy they rely on, but we'll speak about that a little bit later. But yeah, absolute ripper game coming up.
We will. We've got a minute till the Meatball walks in the building. So everyone, if you're on the live chat right now, get your questions in, whether it's NFL fantasy. I can see one there about who's going to be number 1 pick. Ooh. The Tigers have got a lot of youth down there. We'll talk about preseason. We'll talk fantasy. Dion was my partner in crime and saved us on draft night. And he's obviously a Ravens man as well. But keep getting your questions in. We're going to get to them once Dion leaves. We'll then pepper all of your questions through the chat and get Harrow/Kenneth Walker out the back there to pop them in. Last one before the Meatball joins, but Texans defense and Chargers, more so their offensive line, because Herbert, okay, I won't.
Two out of his 4 picks were a bit unfortunate. Like Will Disley literally gets slipped through his hands and it's run back for a tutty. But overall, pretty poor game. And it's like now you start to get that reputation a little bit where it's like, can you deliver on the biggest stage, or on the big stages? And you lost the one on the weekend and the previous one when you're up 27-0 and can't get the job done there. It starts to go over the top a little bit, which is interesting. But yeah, Texans played really well though too at the same time. Like they just pounded their O-line and just made it extremely tough for them. And the Chargers could have easily been up 14-0 after the first 2 drives, which they probably should have been. They had the ball in great territory and unable to execute and have to go away with field goals, unfortunately. And you give him a chance, and there's one big play on whatever it was. What did CJ do? He just scrambled around, and the 50-yarder in the middle of the field, and you just like completely opened up their offense all of a sudden, and it's like they couldn't be stopped. And then Mixon gets the run game going, and it's game over. Yeah, it's
amazing that fumble that Detroit does the trick play, and then they've actually fumbled. Yeah. He rolls out of the pocket, scrambles, and then all the defense runs at him, and then Hutchinson runs with him, and all of a sudden he's time and space. Nico Collins touchdown. All of a sudden they're up.
Changed the game. Yeah. And that was like a minute to go in the second quarter or something, and it just changed. And they score a tutty off that, and next thing you know, they're up 13-6 at halftime. It's like, gee, what's going on?
I love their head coach from the Texans.
He's a ripper. He's an absolute ripper. High energy, and hopefully they can go in and challenge against the Chiefs. Maybe a game under their belt now, and I know they're pretty fresh, but 25 days of actually not playing football could be a bit interesting. That's how long the starters haven't played for the Chiefs. So, I don't know. Maybe it might take a couple of big hits, and you're like, geez, I haven't been used to this for a month. What's happening there?
Well, the secret weapon, Deontay Johnson, he won't be out there. What is
that? Jeez.
The Meatball's knocking on the door, last one. But I think, what about Deontay Johnson? 4 clubs, 1 year. He must have attitude problems.
You just have to be a terrible teammate, don't you? Like, you just have to be terrible for organisations. I got no idea.
What confused me was all the Ravens were slapping him up. Like, Derrick Henry and that were laughing with him.
I got no idea.
Maybe he's just a real funny
He might be in terms of that, but just maybe just the coaches he just can't do. And in the end, you got to keep those guys pleased. Doesn't matter about the players.
One of the reports I read today, one of the sources I saw was that the tomato sauce. But he said he wanted to be wide receiver 1 at the Ravens, and he wasn't interested in reading the playbook. He wanted to be out there, and they were like, mate, you're wide receiver 4.
That's probably going to get you fired, mate. So
anyway, all right, guys, we're going to get to all your questions in the chat. I can see a few of them there. Great to see. Keep them coming, because we will not skip over them. In fact, I'll get them up now, but we got our special guest number 1 in the building. So a little round of applause for my partner in crime in fantasy this year, the Meatball. How are you, mate?
Welcome.
Have a seat.
Welcome.
Thank you, boys. It's been got a really good feeling walking back in here. Last time I was in here, we did some damage, Tommy, in the NFL fantasy comp. So
I'm just
good to
going to
be
say
back.
quickly though, Meatball, Tommy all year has literally said he's been carrying you blokes. So can you confirm or deny that right now, how much of the carrying was involved? Because he keeps coming out here like the shoulders down a little bit right now. He's pumped his own tyres. It doesn't give you too much credit.
Yeah, no, he did carry a lot of the team. The 3 a.m. wake ups weren't too good for the Meatball to get up at 3 a.m. and roll into training. So normally you have a message from Tommy at about 2:55 saying we've changed this, we've done this, but it worked out very well in the end.
There you go.
I wasn't changing many.
We need to go back, Harrow, Brado. We need to go back because on the night we have this moment where I crumbled.
I vaguely remember.
And I went, quick, and Dion, if he wasn't in the studio, well, we were cooked because I think I had a bit of lag. I was trying to host the stream. Regan Bayless come in. He's offending me, telling me I'm no good, I'm washed. Anyway, and then the Meatball goes quick and I think you picked a player and then we had the back-to-back or whatever. But
no, you had a very good team. Well done.
It might have been Higgins.
Picked him very well.
It might have been Higgins.
Yeah.
And what did Higgins score in the granny?
He had quite a big day. Had quite a big day.
Yeah. 3 and 130.
Yeah,
Meatball, we've got a question here. We'll go to them. Everyone in the chat, keep them coming. As I said, AFL related, NFL, just life in general. But Fraser Brown, I like this question. We asked this one not long ago, me and Sip. But Dion, who are you taking in next season's draft if you had number 1 for fantasy? And no doubt with it's going to be bigger stakes next year.
Yeah, it's going to be. It was pretty hard to go past Saquon. Well, we picked Saquon and Henry, and Bayless was giving it to us about how old our team was, but it worked out pretty well. So don't know. I like Gibbs. Yeah, seeing what Montgomery does. I'm not sure where he's off to, if he's going to stay around, but I really like Gibbs from Detroit.
Yep.
I reckon he'll be up there in the mock drafts. I'd say next year. So Detroit, you expect to be good and scoring high again next year as well. So he'd probably be one of them that can come to mind.
Yeah.
That's a great call.
How do you reckon you go as a running back? You are a slippery man on the footy field. I reckon do you reckon you could slide through a few of those A gaps?
I reckon he'd be all right. I reckon he'd find the gap pretty well and lower the shoulder too if he needed to be honest.
I've seen Clyde Edwards-Helaire. If he can get a gig anywhere, I reckon the Meatball could get a couple more yards than him.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Some of the rugby boys tried it and didn't make it too far, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to run through those O-line.
Jared Haynes obviously gave it a go a little while ago, and that didn't work out too well, but I don't know. Meatball's got better hands, though, surely. He'll be all right.
Yeah. I don't think you want those screenplays. Every time you get them, you get smoked or you go for 80 yards.
Yeah, you're right.
What position would the Meatball play in the NFL? Is from Willie Ward. Well, I kind of think there's only really one you could play, really. It's the running back.
Running back.
At least you could play one. I couldn't play one. I couldn't even bloody run the Gatorade out there.
Oh, you could be a little bit of special teams if you wanted to,
mate,
Tommy.
under pressure. Have you seen my hands under pressure? Fuck it all. Hey, I was actually watching a clip today. That Bills Chiefs, I think it was the AFC Championship game, the last 2 minutes.
Yep.
We got 4 touchdowns, I think, pretty much all.
It was a divisional game, I reckon, and they had it might have been the overtime. Yeah.
And I was just thinking Harrison Butker, like he smoked the ball, but I was just it's just everyone involved, so clutch.
Yeah.
Meatball, what's your thoughts on Vrabel being hired by the Patriots, and also Sip chime in here as well? Do you have much to do with that? Do you remember?
He's a Tennessee coach.
Yeah.
Not sure.
You don't care. So Meatball's not a big fan of anyone but the Ravens. He just likes Derrick Henry and the Ravens. Sip?
Well, Vrabel's got a lot of good history at the Titans. Arguably, they made an AFC Championship game as well, lost to the Chiefs. They were a very, very good team there for a while. And I think he's a very good coach as well. I think he's just runs the system very well. And I kind of think this was kind of put into place, I think, for a reason. He's an old Pats guy, played there for a few years there, and he loves that organisation. I think it was probably planned well ahead of schedule. That's why probably Mayo got fired pretty quickly, and he was a guy that they didn't mess around getting him in pretty quickly as well. So he knows what they want, and I think he's probably got the guy to be able to deliver it for him. And maybe because he's a bit more of a player coach thing, maybe you'll be able to kind of be a little bit different to what Belichick's and that used to and see what happens. But it's probably a good hire. He's dealt with young guys and young quarterbacks and got a great defensive system, and you'll probably see some improvement in that team as well.
Yeah, well said. I think he's a great hire. I think of the bus and the boys.
Yeah.
He comes on the bus. He does a podcast, but he just looks like a real good man and a hard coach.
Yeah.
Like he was the coach of the year, I'm pretty sure, in 2021.
Yeah, the year that I think they made it to the AFC Championship
get
or something.
that,
He was coach of the year.
I think he's got a lot of salary cap to play with.
Yeah, he does, no doubt.
And a lot of he's got the
and
early
guys might
draft
want to
picks.
go there like a little bit more now. Like the Patriots organization obviously has, that reputation of being like,
Struggling.
we don't like anybody. This is who we are. You come in and play like for how we want to go about it. We're going to shut everything off, and that's the way it's going to go. I think he'll change that a little bit, be a bit more open to it all, and maybe guys will start to want to play there a little bit more too, and they'll start to get some bigger guys in there to hopefully lift up the team.
Love it. We'll go to some questions here from the Meatball, or for the Meatball, I should say. Thank you guys for writing in. Here we go. Tyler Hine, AFL 1, but who's impressing the Meatball at preseason? I've got my eyes on a couple of the Tigers rookies for AFL Fantasy. Can you talk to us about, obviously, the number 1 pick down there? So that would be pretty hard to go past, you'd imagine.
Yeah. Well, we've got a fair few now. I think it picked up about 8 of them. 8 very.
Do you know all their names
very
yet?
Good, yeah. But Sammy Laylor, well, we've done a lot of work with Sam Laylor and Josh Smiley just as their midfield. Do a lot of work in your line group at this time of year. So, unbelievable characters. You kind of forget that they're only 18 years old, those two. So it's probably the thing that's impressed me the most, just the way they've been able to come in and fit in and communicate with everyone. But I do expect them both to play pretty early. Like Josh is 193 centimeters and 92 kilos or something. So he's
ready to go.
He's pretty much ready to go. And Sammy's the same. He's a pretty solid boy. So he's pretty much just getting fit to get ready to play an AFL game. The other boys, we got Luke Trainer, who's key, probably a bit similar to you size-wise.
I've heard the nickname Train as
the
well.
Train is the nickname as well.
Yeah.
So
Look out.
Wow.
He's probably one who's probably done the most at the moment out of the preseason. He's been good. And then Harry Armstrong. He's probably been impressive. Went to Sunny Coast for camp, absolutely pissing down rain, and Harry was still taking big pack marks and stuff at training. So that was something that stood out with those boys. And obviously the keys maybe not will play, but you never know. Like or guys like Nate Caddy come in last year and really play well during the year. So yeah, why not? Kind of what we're saying. So they've been really impressive. It's been awesome having some fresh talent come in. Try to learn how to communicate with them. I think you need to download Snapchat again and be able to talk to them. So
they are a different breed, these young blokes, aren't they? They don't even send Snapchats with text. They just
different.
Hey, I'm not having a go. I'm just trying to understand the photo with the blurry photo, just to send to keep the streak alive. I think it is.
Yeah, it's a streak. The streaks are important. So no, they've been really.
I do Snapchat.
They've been really good, and because we haven't really gone hard in the draft for a long time. It's kind of good to see these guys hopefully continue their career altogether. So it'll be it's been a good start. Yeah, everyone's flying in preseason though, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Quick question: life without Dusty, how's that going?
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It'd be good to have him around. I was obviously super close with Duz, but it always kind of comes to an end eventually. So footy clubs it's an odd place, as you know. Someone kind of does a retirement speech and it's like, oh, well, we got to play in 2 days' time. Like, let's move on. So you do move on pretty quickly, but I'm sure we'll see Dusty around once he's done all his adventures that he's wanted to do for 16 years. So,
awesome.
But yeah, like Koch comes into the club all the time. We're pretty lucky to have such a good group when I came in, but I just need to find a little coffee mate. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
What about we'll talk about your body, and also I want to know about, we've got a couple of questions here, so keep them coming, guys. Fantastic. We have a question here for one of your teammates, Lafau. How's he tracking along? The big fella needs some luck, from Foss Jam. And also, how's your body? How are you travelling?
Yeah. We'll start with McCalty. He did his ACL mid-year, pretty sure, against Geelong. And unfortunately for a lot, but luckily we have about 6 boys who are in the ACL rehab group together. I couldn't imagine doing one and doing it by yourself or the rehab. So yeah, we got a group that are kind of able to do their rehab together. So I'm guessing that he'll be ready to go by mid-year. Kelty, and there's Tyler Young, who's played a few games for us, who's ACL, Judson Clark ACL, Gibbo, who hopefully see this year as well, Josh Gibkiss. So yeah, we got a fair few who are going through it at the moment in their rehab, but he's going pretty well. And for me, yeah, really good. So I was able to do a normal off season, which helps you just not have to worry or catch up. So yeah, I've been able to roll through a whole entire preseason and Christmas break without with really not missing a thing. So it's been good. Hopefully, touch wood that it continues and it can kind of roll into the season because it's come along pretty quick.
I think I saw a graphic today. 50 days to go.
Not far at all.
What's the big meat benching at the moment? Dylan McInnes.
I'm actually not allowed to do bench press. So
the meatball doesn't bench. He's too big for the bench press.
Get too meaty. So I'm
round.
My upper body stuff is just band work and core at the moment.
Are you serious? The meatball's not allowed to touch the weights.
I had to go last year. I was like, I'm just going to do uppers like everyone else does, do it normally, put on probably about 3 kilos and was benching, I reckon, what do? We do 3 reps. I think I got about, I feel like it was 97 for 3.
Not bad.
And then did my hammy and they're like, yeah, let's lose some weight, mate. So I'm not allowed to do bench press anymore. Ban myself from it. Good question, though.
That's great. Any chance of a blonde meatball mohawk heading into the preseason games from the Foss? I was actually going to use Foss. I was going to put a photo up of the meatball on social media, just say we're live. And the only photo I had was him I think he might have been in the Pittsburgh top with the bleached blonde locks.
Yeah, it was a bit of a phase.
I reckon you should do it again. You poll 3 Brownlow votes every time you got it.
Oh, nah. Well, I got an earring in Bali, so I feel like that's enough.
Speaking of earrings, the Coconarcus is on tonight. We're going to get around here.
Yeah,
an earring. Yeah, that looks good, though. You got it in today, yeah?
Yeah, I got the earring in today. Just special occasions.
For the NFL. I mean, everyone, you're more of a wide receiver.
You can keep it on in the game days in the NFL. You're right, mate. See all the chains and that they're wearing, the grills and that. You'd be happy
days. We're going to get a Tyreek. Tyreek's got a little cross dangling one.
Not sure. That's it. He's also got 30 kids. I think he's got more kids than we've got in the live chat at the moment. Can we get some more questions, guys? Don't be shy. I'm going to read them out. We've got a couple more questions here, but hope you're fit and firing. 100 games, 100 days. Love that. Who's your tip for the AFL Premiership this season from Sardi? Maybe outside of Richmond. Who do you think's the best team in the competition this year? One team.
I think Sydney.
Do you think Sydney?
Hard to go, but I think their list is just good age, good players. They got pretty lucky with their academy, whatever that means. Over the last few years.
He's won 3 flags and he's complaining about the academy.
And they just got 7 draft picks in the first 10 picks.
I think they were the best team last year. And I just think they go again. Like their team's just a good age at the moment. Bringing some young guys in, I just think they probably get better next year. They were lucky with injury. I know they played the same team for pretty much the whole entire year and lost a few at the end, but I like Sydney.
Sydney. What about you, Sip? Before we get back on the NFL here, just a quick AFL Premiership tip.
I can't say anything, mate.
Who's going to be? He's at Hawthorn. What am I thinking? Jeez, I'm getting back into NFL here now because I haven't obviously prep for AFL yet. It's a lot of time to go.
Good stuff, Tommy.
Who is your NFL player comparison? That's a good one.
Ooh.
Who do you compare yourself to in the NFL?
In the NFL?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, who would you love to be? Sip, you go as well.
Me?
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit hard when you are an NFL player.
Oh, well, yeah.
How does it feel saying that you're an NFL player? That must be a dream.
Live the dream, mate. No, it's good stuff.
Very humble. Who would the meatball be like?
I reckon a bit of David Montgomery about the old meatball.
The ground and pound,
I reckon the ground and pound about him. Just, get your 4 or 5 chunk yards. Feel real good about myself.
Maybe Lenny Fournette at the Buffalo Bills when he was trying out a big solid, wasn't he?
Yeah,
in the chat there, Tommy's teeth look extra white today. Yeah, that's because of the. I've swapped it up. I've gone Colgate Oral B. Have you noticed Oral B? I think it's a bit better for your chompers.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Will Mahomes be the GOAT if he 3-peats from Maxi Rowe? What do we think about that?
It's going to have to be darn close.
Yeah.
Brady never did
hard
that.
to beat him.
His stats are off the charts, aren't they? Surely everyone is going against Mahomes. Like everyone.
I am.
Okay, I know you are. We all are, don't worry.
Don't have to tell me twice.
Yeah, well,
Fair investment, that 500 million. Looks pretty good now.
Yeah.
I think he's actually underpaid. I'm pretty sure he took a pay.
He's like 11th in the out of the quarterbacks now, I think, after what's happened.
What about me, Sip? Who would you Matty Fewings here's written
you compared to an NFL player?
Yeah.
You'd be a little returner, I reckon.
Braxton, what's his name?
Some Braxton.
Berrios.
Yeah, Berrios or something like that, or Britton Covey or something like that. Just a little dude catching the ball out the back there and see where you can get, son. That's good.
A bit of a Devontae Smith, he's skinny, but he can move.
Eric Decker. Give you a little Decker,
Decker's
maybe.
a solid man. Now, Joshy Rowe, lovely questions, and Maxi Rowe, they might be brothers. Let us know in the chat, boys. Sip's still in contact with a few. Are you still in contact with a few of the Eagles boys, Sip? We've got a couple of people asking
keep in
that.
contact with a few of the guys there, which has been good. People move on obviously fast and things like that, and that's how it works. But no, I keep in touch with a couple of the guys. In particular, obviously, big Jordan Mailata. He was a very close friend of mine, and which was good. And still keep in contact with him on the regular to see how he's going. And my wife was obviously close with the wives and that over there too. So it's still try and keep in contact. I'd love to get over obviously there a bit more and say hello to them. But it's good. And obviously. Went through a period with them too. Obviously didn't get the ultimate success, but when you still go through that type of stuff, you still build great relationships and that with them. So, yeah, do what I need to do.
Yeah, it's well said. Well, he's someone that we're trying to get on the show. We just got to work on the
busy
timelines.
End of the year for him, but we'll get it right.
Hopefully they make the Super Bowl, mate, and we got the week off so we can get as many of the boys on as possible.
Not going this year, Tommy.
Hey, not going. We're going to be at the Osborne. I don't know if anyone has seen. Everyone get around the Osborne. You might be able to roll down. It's only around the corner from Punt Road.
In between training, maybe.
I'm sure you could tell the coach.
Duck in, mate. Little halftime show gig. You'll be right.
We moved our weights back one year, the year that Atlanta got done by Brady. Yeah. We actually moved it back.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think it was Nick Subin, one of the boys. He had a bit of money on Brady and the Patriots, and he cracked the shits and left. It was at my house.
Yeah.
Got back to the gym. I said, mate, you've lost the plot. Yeah. You've missed the best game of all time.
You have.
And he goes, I know. When he got back, he literally, because everyone at the club said you're not allowed to talk about it unless you go watch it live at mine. We had about 20 boys.
That's good.
But I reckon that's good coaching, don't you reckon?
Yeah, it's not bad.
I understand the preseason's important, but if it's just weights in the afternoon, push them back.
Was that Ross?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
of all people,
I think the leaders really got it over the line. Pav and the boys really like their NFL.
Wow.
Dimmer said to us in the 2017 season, because no one really expected us to win it, he said, if you win the granny, I'll let you go to the Super Bowl. And it was in Tampa Bay, and we won it. And we were like, Dimmer, you got to keep this promise. Never happened. Never happened.
That's a disgrace, Dimmer.
Important time of the year, apparently, February.
Well, it did stand. Yeah. Well,
some would say.
No,
some would say.
You got to keep your promise.
That's
I think.
great.
Yeah, that is very weak. We'll find out if the Suns boys get the day off. I reckon they'll be doing an extra session. Anyway, we've got a couple more questions here. I like this one. Let's get a Super Bowl tip before I go back to an AFL question from the False Jam. But we've got a couple of people here asking. I think it's Joshy Rowe wants to know your Super Bowl tip, matchup and winner.
Feeling, I think Sippo is the same, Baltimore and Philly.
Yeah.
And I think Baltimore win it. Well, I hope they do.
What's the scoreline?
28, 24.
That's a nice.
Yeah,
that's
Baltimore.
a nice prediction.
It's a good scoreline as well.
Yeah, that's a good
prediction.
prediction.
It's about 6 tutties in
I
there.
like that.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, you'd need a lead early because they slow the clock, the old Eagles. They really
take their time.
They go 4th and 1. You can't stop it.
Yeah.
Meatball, a couple of funny questions here. Who would you rather Richmond pick up, Saquon Barkley or the monster DK Metcalf, if you could have one of them on the team? That one's from Connor Young. That's a great question. There's a couple more above.
DK would be pretty good in the rock, I reckon.
Yeah.
Just a beast. Absolute beast.
And he could
That's
play
a great
forward.
call.
Yeah.
That's a great call.
And just go stand the goal
Good
square.
mitts.
Rest on the
Jump
quick.
up high.
He'd blow
Yeah.
up. The big fella
He
blow
would.
up.
He'd be
He's
short
fast,
burst.
though.
Short
What
burst.
when he chased down Baker?
Yeah.
He could go all right.
He'd be pretty
might tag.
explosive up forward.
We'll have to tag someone.
Yeah.
Ruck and tag.
We've got a couple more questions here. Foss Jam. Would the Meatball rather be stuck on a 24-hour flight, sat next to Alex Rance, or be subjected to 4 quarters of Jack Rewalt abuse for shanking kicks?
The 24-hour flight with Rancy would actually be pretty fun.
I feel like that would be an easy answer.
Yeah, easy. Rancy's an absolute character. Legend.
Did Rewalt give you a few sprays in the field?
I think he gave everyone a few sprays, Jack. In his
Must be a
20
Rewalt
years,
thing.
20 years he's played.
Jeez, he's not bad, is he, Jack? I mean, he's dead-eye dick by the end, wasn't he? But he used to miss a few goals. It's you got to love that. You got to love that. Unrelated as far as I know. Here we go. We got a couple more. I'm just getting in the questions here, boys. Because who does the Meatball support? I can answer that for you.
Ravens.
Baltimore Ravens.
That's it. Love Lamar. I followed Lamar with who's he?
Louisville. Yeah, good.
When he won the
when they won the
Heisman, I'm like, I'll get on this bandwagon.
Yeah.
And then
Good call.
Yeah, kind of followed him through. Went to Baltimore in 20.
You've actually been, haven't you?
Yeah.
You go with Maisie. Was it Maisie?
Sean Grigg. So I think one of the old Carlton physios was over there.
Yep.
And organised in 2018 to get over there. Went through their like main training, I guess, on the Thursday. Yep. And then they were playing I think they were playing Pittsburgh. Yeah, and Pittsburgh beat them. It was when Flacco was starting. Lamar was on the bench coming on every now and then. So Baltimore. Baltimore was like the only real connection I've had. So
yeah, I'm the same as you. It's good to start with it. I know everyone has jumps on the bandwagon, but I've actually started with because of Eric Decker, as I told you. He ended. Then I was like, I got to pick a team. I just love Lamar.
Yeah.
But I reckon if you're starting NFL now, you're jumping on Washington. Like Jaden Daniels is special.
Yeah.
Like he'd be great to follow.
Yeah,
now.
great call.
Why does Sip hate Bo Nix when they were college teammates? From Tyler?
I gotta clear this up.
Yeah,
there's no hate towards Bo Nix. Not one bit. I love Bo. I'm just letting you know that for a rookie, it was going to be tough. And it was tough for the first month.
Well, it wasn't fun.
He was 2 tutties and 7 picks. It was going pretty tough. So I was like, well, I'm just telling you what's going on. That's it. I have no hate towards Bo. I love Bo. As I said on last week's show, what he has done has been incredible. As a rookie to go in and make the playoffs is a great effort. And Sean Payton's offense and his style is probably one of the toughest to be able to learn. I saw a video the other day that, with Drew Brees there, and it was all these XY, unbelievable play calling that was going on. And even Drew Brees is like, what's going on here? And he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. So I couldn't imagine what Bo's having to go through to figure that out. And it's impressive to see. So next year when we come back, mate, it's not going to be the same thing because we know what Bo's going to do. And it's a big future for him. So no hate towards young Bo at all. I think he's a very special talent, but I just thought it's going to be a tough ride for him early on. And it was. And then he exceeded all expectations. So good on him.
Play calling. For us looking at it, and they say it's everywhere. It's just absolute gibberish. Yeah. But it's actually a little bit more simpler once you're in the
so all that thing that's basically what the coach is obviously saying through to the quarterback is it's obviously harder for the quarterback because he does need to know everything. But everything that he calls out, particular segments of that play call is for wide receivers, tight ends, offensive line, and that. So the offensive line only need to hear 2 words out of that whole thing, and they go, okay, I know what play.
Yeah.
Wide receivers only need to know 2 words out of that whole play, and they'll know which way it's going and who's in what spot type thing. So, it sounds like it's obviously pretty nuts, but basically it's broken down for each position. It's just the quarterback has to yell it all out.
Yeah.
So
like once you're in the four walls,
that's right.
You understand what this means.
Without a doubt. Yeah. Without a doubt.
It looks bloody hard.
Oh, it's tough. And there's no doubt, like going through all of that and having to remember still all that stuff is going to be nuts because when it comes down to it, there's 24 seconds for him to be able to get the play out, yell it out, and then you've got 20 seconds to set up basically on how you want to go and then go and execute it and then read the defense and change it up if you need to. So still a lot going on and things like that are all part of it because it's not just one play, it's technically 2. That they call out. Yeah. So if they read they see the defense is obviously set up and they go, nah, first play's not good. If you watch it, you hear the kill, and then that's when they go into the second play, obviously. So there's always like kind of 2 plays that have been out. So it's mind blowing kind of stuff. Yeah. But basically just each position gets broken down into little parts. So they just hear a couple of words and go, okay, I know what's going on. Good question though. Love that.
Keep going, boys. I'm just getting up these hot takes from last week, and we're going to get into this week's games. But Meatball, a couple more for you. Here we go. This would be a good one for the Meatball, just to know. But do you reckon Hopkins will get a touchdown against his old mob this week, the Texans?
Well, he's been scoring a bit, hasn't he, D-Hop?
He's due, though. He's definitely due.
He's definitely not their wide receiver one.
Nah.
So you've got to think Texans.
Particularly with Brown being back as well now.
Yeah, the Texans have. I think they've given up 2 passing touchdowns every week, besides last week.
The worst. They were the worst in red zone for passing TDs, and obviously in last week that was an exception. But yeah,
Meatball. Anything else, mate? Before we go?
Nah, look, it's been a great year, hasn't it, Tommy?
Yeah, it has.
For us, fantasy. The grand final was a bit nerve wracking for a bit, but we pulled.
What do you want to see?
It's finally, This is the first year, 3 years we've been doing it. We've been together 2 or 3 our
2 years,
team.
me and you.
This is the first time I stayed on for the draft. So the first draft I was a Mad Monday. It was no good. Second one I was in Rome. We didn't finish too well. This is the first year I've been
maybe
here.
it is you.
So, yeah.
Maybe it is you.
First year I've kept him in check on draft night.
I can't comment. I mean, it's true.
It's true. I'm just
the first
I'm
time he's been sober,
and he's got.
Well, he's actually Rome who's sober, but he's Mad Monday.
Yeah.
He had goggles on. He's like, oh fuck, we're going here. I'm trying to host the show, which I won't be doing this year. We'll be getting some comedian doing that. I can't keep up with Regan.
That's great.
And then this year, he was in the studio. Preparation was key.
Yeah, good.
3-time premiership player for a reason, baby.
That's right.
And I'm following the tips you boys are putting out pretty hard. Besides the one that got up, so
yeah, I know. On the
maybe a little $3 fancy on Sunday morning would be nice.
we might have to.
We're gonna have a lot of. We're gonna have
a safe bet.
We're gonna have our safe. We're gonna have our best.
Yeah.
We've probably been stiff with our best, but also the specials on the PointsBet little tab there. We've got pretty cool how we've got a little American Aces specials in the NFL. Before you go, Dion, let's just go through. I saw Shaq last week did this. Let's see if you can go 4 from 4. Okay, we're going to have some fun here, guys, and then we'll get back into your questions, and me and Sip will go through these games in the AM, Australian Eastern Standard Time. Pump for this. Give us your tip. Tell us who will score a touchdown as well.
It's hard to go past the Chiefs. I know they said I haven't played for 25, but Patty Mahomes, he's a superstar. So Chiefs, and I love Nico Collins for a TD because he wrote us. Yeah, Nico will score.
Nico wasn't our fantasy team, and his GG does not stop scoring. Love it. I love how you've gone for the Texans tutty, and you've gone against them. Let's go Commanders Lions.
Yeah, well, Lions. Yeah, Lions a pretty obvious pick there. Touchdown as well.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go Gibbs. It's too obvious. Get some value somewhere. Reynolds play at Detroit still? Is he still there?
There's a backup Reynolds, but that's too much. I mean, I shouldn't comment. I've done this to Sit before. I've squashed.
He'll score first too. He'll score first.
Reynolds would be ridiculous.
Daniels have overs passing yards.
That's a good.
They'll end up slinging
like
it.
that.
They'll play from behind.
Rams Eagles on the Monday at 7 a.m. start.
Yeah, Philly smoke them, I reckon.
Nice. He's their favourite, and this is the best game by a mile. It's the only game the bookies do not know who's going to win. You got the 2 MVPs. While I'm at it, there's someone asked in the chat who will win the MVP.
Oh well, I saw Lamar voted in the first team,
All-Pro. First team.
Kind of makes it.
Yeah, that's what you think.
You would hope so.
Ravens v Bills.
Ravens my Super Bowl tip. So Ravens, and Henry has 2 and 120.
I love that.
Love it.
That's good.
He's going
That's
down.
good.
He got
like
greedy
it.
last
That's
week on
great.
Meatball. He had the record for rushing yards, and he just wanted an extra tud. That's the problem with Lamar. He's been still in the limelight with his MVP. He normally hands him off. That's what they used to do.
That's great.
Well, mate, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, Tommy.
All the best for the
I
year.
appreciate it.
Good
luck for the rest of
Thanks
the year.
for carrying us this year. No mentions for Rory Atkins. You weren't happy with his performance here.
I heard he did nothing.
Yeah, he did nothing. He just jumped on the train.
And the rat was good. All he did was question me moves. But he was great. Great to have the rat involved in it. Port Adelaide. So we might be able to open up a new market outside of town. We don't have any SA representation in the Aces Fantasy League.
Yep.
But Meatball, thanks for coming on, mate. We'll work that out. You got the Chiefs, you've got the Lions, the Eagles, and the Ravens, which is what I would be doing as well, to be honest. But love it, mate. Well, go well, and we'll see you Sunday for our little catch up, fantasy catch up.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Well,
thanks to the Meatball.
Thanks, Meatball. Get a little round of applause there, guys. Well, mate, I'll give you a chat tomorrow. I'll call you. I'm still alive, so I got to, All righty. Well, let's get back into it, Sip.
What do you reckon?
Harrow, while you're there, we've got Kenneth Walker out the back here. Kenneth, you got any questions for us? I've missed a few there. Can you read a few out for me, great man, before we get stuck into it?
Yeah, I've got plenty of questions here, fellas.
Well, we can't hear you there, Harrow. We've got a technical difficulty. We'll have to get back
Can you hear me now, mate?
Yeah, there you go.
Beautiful.
Kenneth.
So we've got a first question here from a Dylan McGuinness, who also put in a question earlier, but he says, what happens with Darnold next season, lads?
Oh, that's a great question.
That's good.
That is really good. I was, I didn't get to talk to you about it, but he was the most disappointing quarterback by a mile.
Yeah,
I thought he was more disappointing than Herbert.
It's a tough one now. I don't know. I don't know what you do.
Well, I think he gets.
I think he's going to want to know. He's going to want a multiple. He's going to want a multiple year because overall they've won 14 games, made the playoffs. But I don't know this one. I really don't.
I'm just reading Tyler Hines' comment. He said Reynolds got shot this year, and that was Dion's. That was the Meatball's TD. Come on, Tyler. God. Reynolds went to Denver, then Jacksonville.
It is a great question. I'm going to assume that maybe a team like the Ravens or something like that. Oh, not the Ravens. Sorry, the Raiders might try and maybe give him a couple of years and something like that. But I don't know, if I was him, maybe and Minnesota, maybe I'd just do one more year, give JJ the chance to have another 12 months in the system, and maybe after that you go from there. So that would maybe be my play.
Love it. Well, let's get into the first game. And as you're talking about it, I'm going to send a link to our second guest for the show. But I'd love you to break down this Texans-Chiefs game for as long as you can.
I'll give it a red-hot crack.
As detailed as you can, mate, for everyone out there. And we will get to your questions, guys. I'm just going to send this little link to our second guest.
First game is as we mentioned, is the Texans against the Chiefs at the Chiefs. And obviously the Chiefs are pretty fresh right now, as I said, basically having 25 days off, particularly for their starters in Mahomes and Kelsey and all those guys. So they'll be pretty fresh, ready to go. And obviously the Texans last week had a very, very impressive game and really delivered on the big stage at home. Everybody had written them off and, obviously wasn't expecting too much to happen there, and the Chargers would kind of roll through them. But super impressive with their defense. CJ Stroud found a way, in particular in the second half, to get the job done, which was massive for him. And Joe Mixon as well had a massive impact there. But I think really what comes down to is the Chiefs' defense has been rock solid all year. I think these two played maybe just over a month ago around Christmas time, I'd say, well, not even a month ago. And it's fair to say the Chiefs were pretty much in control of that game the whole time. And they were too good for the Texans in the end. Stop the run game. Mixon might have a tough day, really. He started off pretty slow last week, but I just don't think that the Chiefs give him anything. Chris Jones in the middle there is an absolute monster on the D-line, and it's just hard to be able to stop him right now and really run the ball. So I don't probably expect too much from Mixon. It's going to be more of the passing game that really gets going, and it's going to be how the O-line stands up and protects CJ Stroud, to be honest. And if they can find a way to protect him, they give themselves a chance to be able to do it. But he's going to be looking for one man. It's going to be Nico Collins. And the way that the way the Chiefs defense has been right now with their two corners, they're outstanding right now, particularly McDuffie. And it will be a tough matchup going into KC and trying to get over the line there. It's going to be very, very tough. But that's the way it has to happen I believe, for the Texans. CJ has to play well and not give up anything in terms of interceptions. He's going to have to find Nico Collins and come up with great plays to get that done. And then maybe Mitchie in there as well as a little bit of a decoy in that, because I really do find it tough. And if you look on the other side, well, the Chiefs in the last couple of games got rolling on offense. They dismantled the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that was scary to watch because it was like, we've been waiting all year, and they've put up 29 points pretty easily. Kelsey had 84 yards without having to do much. Worthy has burst onto the scene now even more so with the way that Hollywood Brown's back in now. And as we spoke about just before, Hopkins is obviously there as an option as well, which is pretty darn dangerous for him. But run game probably needs to pick up a little bit. So Pacheco and Hunt probably need to get going a little more and help it out. But it is going to be very, very tough for the Houston Texans to be able to get over on this one. And I think that the Chiefs win this pretty comfortably and make their way to another AFC Championship game, which I think, if I'm correct, will be their 7th in a row. So it's a huge feat for them, and a lot of people right now have them as the best team in the league, and they'll be able to prove that as we continue going into the AFC Championship.
Love it, mate. You know I love my stats. And this one, it has Xavier Worthy. He's had 4 catches in 7 straight games and 5 receptions in 5 consecutive contests. He's the guy that I feel like Mahomes is number 1 at the moment. Not that he's like getting peppered, but he's getting way more targets. He's quick. He's lightning. They do explosive plays. You've got to stop Kelsey. You've now got Hollywood Brown. You've got Hopkins. You've got Pacheco. You've got Mahomes who can scramble. And they use him a little bit like Mims. You know, we talk about the playmaker.
They do.
He's the playmaker for me. So I like him for the touchdown or the explosive play, one of the two.
Yep.
And then on the other side, it's Schultz. The Chiefs give up the most receiving yards and second most receptions to the tight end position. And Schultz had his best game against the Chiefs early in the year with 45 and 1. So I reckon he might be the one that can get going.
He probably needs to be honest, to release a bit of pressure in that. So certainly for sure.
It's time for our second guest. This man has been all over the podcast this year. It's finally good to get him on. It's Tommy McMillan, the T-Mac from Any Given Sunday. The big fella, I'm surprised he's got enough money to pay the electricity bill because he's been sending us that many jerseys. But great, man, it's good to have you on the show.
Power just went out, mate. I've run out of
the power just went out.
I don't mind the moonlight setting anyway, so that's fantastic.
Yeah, no, that's it, mate. How are you boys?
Going well, mate. Going well.
He sounds a bit flat, to be honest.
He sounds a bit
it's a
flat.
good-looking jersey you got on there, Train. I like it.
Yeah, mate. At least I wear it every episode, mate. I don't reckon many people in Australia have a Derrick Henry Ravens top on their chest.
Nah, mate, I travel around the world to get that bloody thing.
Now, King, you Packers man, give us your thoughts on the weekend's game, and more importantly, I think now that the season's over, you got to move on quickly. But Devontae Adams has just come out and said, "I hear they might need a experienced wide receiver." And when you see Dobbs, he gets concussed probably just as much as Tua does. He's actually a real concern. And
Watson will be out for most of
Watson's
the year as well.
a really injury-prone wide receiver. I mean, I don't know how many times he's done a hammy knee. I mean, he's done a serious knee, and thoughts go to him. But it feels like he's injured every second week. Reid's a good wide receiver. Jacobs is an absolute beast, and Love, as you know, was banged up late. But they've got good tight ends. What are your thoughts on Adams joining the Packers?
As a long-time Packers, you're going to love that kind of shit, aren't you? But you're right, we are very, very banged up and very up and down. Like, Reid dominated the Eagles early in the year, but then, 2 catches on the weekend? Like, just, I don't know, still feel very young and very up and down. So someone like Adams coming in would be huge, but, yeah, he didn't go amazing at the Jets either, so...
His last month was pretty big, I must say, and as anywhere, you go somewhere new. I don't matter what it is. You go to a new workplace. I feel like it takes a little bit of time to settle in, but it was unusual how him and Aaron Rodgers were on a different page. What are your thoughts on the Packers season, mate? What do you think? Because you were pretty confident last week, and to be honest, the defense actually was outstanding. It's just the offense that Jordan Love. I got him in fantasy. His last 3-4 games have been huge.
Yeah, his first month was pretty shit too when he was injured, but yeah. Jacobs is our only real consistent, ball winner. So, yeah, we still had a better season than last year. Like, even though we didn't win against you boys on the weekend, we did beat the Cowboys last year, but they suck. So that doesn't really count.
That's good.
Yeah, look, we had a better record. So I don't know. You can take from that what you would, I guess.
Who's your favourite player at the Packers?
Currently or all time?
I'll go both.
All time, I got a Jordy Nelson helmet in my background. He was a legend. I loved him. And it's hard. I think Xavier McKinney kind of coming across and playing so well on the defense, or Big Tucker Craft. I like a good tight end. So
it's good.
Don't clip that little bit, but yeah,
I've got one other question for you, Alexander. Obviously, there's a lot of speculation that he might not be there next year. He's obviously a superstar cornerback, and he has been for a long time for that organisation. So, obviously, your thoughts on that? I personally think it would be a massive loss for the Green Bay Packers, but interested on what your thoughts are behind that as well.
You can see when he's on the field, we're always so much better. So losing him on the field would be huge. I don't love the way he's not scared to have a chat off the field to the media. So the fact that he didn't say anything is probably more telling. So, yeah, look, he would be huge, and we don't want to lose him, but if you can't keep them all, unfortunately.
Agree.
Mate, while we've got you, Sip's been at me. He's going, how slow is this jersey tape, mate? He's actually going to hand deliver it. I said, come on tonight.
I did hear this. No, we've been chatting, so he's a man of his word, which is excellent. And I'll be jumping on, make sure, and he's going to be doing it in person, which is great.
Well, mate, you let me know when you do it, because I've got to get mine in before you. I've all these bloody Oz post dramas. I'll tell you what, mine's been circling around America. I don't know what's going on, but Sip's taken a few jerseys off both of us this year.
I did. I was listening last week, and I liked that he said he was just going to take it off you and send it to me if he lost.
Well, you know what? We could do that. I mean, he'd be silly to do that because he can get 2 if he wants.
No, I'm taking the 2, mate. I'm off. I go.
Mate, while we've got you, we've just had Meatball go through his tips. Give us a tip and a touchdown scorer for each game, and anything else that you like this week before we jump back into it.
We'll start. What do we start with? We'll go with the Texans and the Chiefs. We'll go with that game first.
I wish the Texans could be a bit more competitive, but I think the Chiefs, with their week off, realistically 2 weeks off for all their starters, are going to come out and fresh. As far as touchdown scorer for that game, maybe a Xavier Worthy if he's playing, if he's fit. I don't know, he was a bit of a string problem late in the year, didn't he? So if he plays, I don't mind him over the top, although the Texans' defense was huge. So if they can come to play, then that's the only way they can really be in it, I reckon.
Good call. I like it.
Washington Lions.
Yeah. Ooh, being a divisional game for me, I kind of hope the Lions lose, but really? I feel like everyone's.
Are you a fan of the Lions?
I do like them. I like the way they play, but I don't want a divisional team to win. So, and Jaden Daniels is huge. He's been awesome to watch throughout the year. So, look, I reckon he might score one on his legs. The defense up front for the Lions kind of gave up a bit late in the year, so I think Jaden Daniels could score one.
And you're tipping the Lions, but you don't want to say it?
I think the Lions will win, yeah. But
Jaden really didn't want to say that.
Had to get it out of him, didn't we?
I'd rather the Lions than the Vikings. So.
Rams, Eagles.
We were talking about this the other day, Sippo. I think you said you match up well against the Rams, but I feel like they're going to be explosive. Cooper Kupp been a bit quiet, so he might kind of show out a little bit, which would be good for him. But I do think your boys are going to be too strong, and you're not going to go 2 weeks in a row without a Barkley touchdown, I don't think.
Yeah, well said. And I think the last time he played him, he went for two.
He had a field
20,
day. Two 75-yard runs, I reckon, for Tutty. So that they really opened it up in the second half. That's for sure.
2 more questions from us. Before you give us the Ravens Bills tip, we've got a question here from Will Ward for all of us. But who would you rather at the Packers, Adams or Higgins? T. Higgins, that is.
Yeah. Nostalgically, you're going to say Adams, but T. Higgins probably got a few more years if he can stay healthy. He's been a bit injury prone in the past as well. But it just depends what you want. If you want the nostalgia and right now, I'd probably say Adams, but for the long term, you're going Higgins.
I think who would you go, Sib?
Yeah, I'd probably look more long term and a bit more future and what you're going to get out of him. And I think Higgins is a star, and I think he could easily be the number one guy with the Packers if he went over there and what he's been like, what he'll be able to do. We saw what he did in the last round. He can be so dominant, I find, and I think he would be a massive addition. So, me personally, I'd probably take Higgins based on what the future gives, and you're going to get more years out of him for sure.
Great question, Will. I think Higgins will sign at the Bengals, but you'd rather a young quarterback with a young receiver, and they can build some connection for years.
Yep.
All right, mate. Bills, Ravens. Break my heart or tell me you love me.
We got Charlie Pickering on our podcast, and he's a massive Bills fan. So I'm sick of hearing about the Bills. So I'm gonna jump on your train and say that you guys will knock them off, even though I don't know, what's the weather going to be? Is it going to be cold?
Oh, mate, the colder the better. Derrick Henry, you should try to stop him when it's snowing. Try to stop that big freight train.
I reckon him for 2. That's how confident I would be with him.
I love that.
You've got to think him on Lamar are going to be running the ball all day. Josh Allen will probably run one in. Can't believe I had a little go at him last week. First time all year, and he didn't look like it. Well, mate, thanks so much for jumping on. We're going to have some fun throughout the end of the year. Hopefully see you at the Osborne for the Super Bowl with the boys. And otherwise, we'll keep keep growing the game. You guys are doing some amazing things. And to our people, Oz American Aces that are tuning in, make sure you go check out their podcast because it's a cracker and the boys have been going for a long time now. So if you're a Packers fan or a Bills fan, I'd imagine there's a fair bit of commentary coming out of your gob. So, mate, thanks for jumping on. And, all the best this weekend watching the Ravens as a Packers man.
Cheers, boys. I'll see you when I hand deliver that jersey.
Awesome.
Yeah, done,
Thanks, mate.
Sounds good. Cheers, Tommy. Well, we'll jump back in here, Sip. We've got a few more guests to join us, but better get back into the show quickly while I get back on track here. But it is a big game. We're going to catch up the Aces fantasy for the first time in a while. But this next game for me, I feel like it could be closer. The line was the line's 9.5.
Looking at it right now,
I mean, PointsBet got the line.
Commanders, they got it at 9.5, and Commanders are $5 head to head. I'm going, I don't know about that. Like that's, I would happily take the 9.5, the line at 9.5, and I think it is going to be closer than what it's expected. And me personally, that's what I think anyway. I think the Commanders have won 13 games this year, and they just continue to find a way, and they got a stud quarterback. It's going to be a very, very hostile environment. They're up and about over in Detroit right now, and so they should be. But I still think it's going to be closer. It's playoff football in the end, and I still think it's going to be a bit closer than that. So I think this is going to be a ripping game. The way I see it panning out, I still think Detroit get over the line. Overall, I still think they are the better team, but I just think it's going to be closer. And we always keep speaking about this, but it's obviously the injury concern with Detroit. It's the secondary and that, but having a week off is going to be huge for them. They are now freshened up. Those guys that been a bit banged up, they might get a couple back. I'm not 100% sure, but it just gives them a week to really freshen up and feel better about themselves. And to be honest, the way their secondary played against the Vikings in that last week, they were massive. They were absolutely massive. They had a couple moments there in the end zone where Darnold missed them, and there was definitely touchdowns available there. But overall, they were pretty rock solid. Only giving up 9 points to a highly powered offense that the Vikings have in Jefferson, and Addison was on absolute fire is a huge credit to them. But I think they're probably in still for a tough challenge with Scary Terry. And the way Brown got off last week too, you're like, geez, he's come out of nowhere all of a sudden, just makes it a little more interesting. So I'm definitely looking out for Scary Terry to have a pretty big impact again. I think the secondary is still a little bit susceptible. So I'm looking there. But really, Detroit's offense has been so well done. And Lattimore, Evans got hold of him last week, big time. 8 catches, I think maybe close to 100 yards, a tutty as well. Like he got hold of him. So there's some dangerous guys out there again on the offense for Detroit, and it's just where you look. Do you want to go Gibbs? You want to go St. Brown? Do you want to go Williams? You want to go Laporta? And that's just starting it there. And I think it's just hard to be able to stop all of them and contain them. And I think that that's the way it's going to work out in the end. And St. Brown's going to have a massive game, I think. I don't think Lattimore lines up on him the whole time because I think he goes into the slot a little bit more in that as well. And Lattimore's probably looking more at Williams. He would have to look at Williams a little more. And I think St. Brown gets off the chain a little bit too, and he's going to be in for a really big game. And Detroit get over the line, but I think it's closer than 9.5. That's what I think right now.
Love it, and love everyone's questions. We're going to get to all of them, I promise you guys. We're loving your support. I know it's a small community, the NFL one, and me and Sip just love seeing all your questions and support throughout the year. Sip, your analysis is spot on. I go through my eyes, and I've watched enough football this year, and there's a guy last week, John Bates, tight end of Washington. He had a couple of targets in the red zone. Just keep your eyes on that. $16 you get right now on PointsBet, which is huge odds. And if you want to listen to the Meatball, Craigie Reynolds at $13. I mean, it'd be a trick play or something. But when you, I've been doing a fair bit of research on the Lions, and have you noticed? I don't know if you've watched any. There's a little, carousel of videos of trick plays, and every one of them where they do something behind the line, whether it's flea flicker or whatever. Sam Laporte is always on the end of them. And I think, do they do a trick play this week? I reckon they do because when I say trick play, I'm not talking about fourth down and that. I'm talking about Jared Goff and Gibbs rolling over. Like, what are they cooking up? And you got to think with a week's rest, do they pull it out this week? Well, I reckon they might. This game could be tighter than you think.
I'd be looking at Sewell.
Yeah, Penne. Well, there's a play where he goes to throw it early in the year.
I'd be looking at him maybe having a little bit of a catch. I don't know, something like that.
That would be. I'm looking at. I don't even think he's in the market.
I don't think
he's
he is
not even
either.
in the market.
But
We'd
just
have to create
little
something.
things like that, and the extra week that they get to be able to prepare and come up with things. It's definitely something to think about for sure.
It certainly is. I love Baker's touchdown pass to Bucky Irving. You got to think that Gibbs is going to be too hard to stop. I reckon their weakness, Washington, we know this, is the run game.
Mm-hmm.
You get the double-headed monster. I don't think I'm going to touch Monty.
Yeah.
I think he'll be playing, but he might just pound the rock when they need him. Yeah. But I reckon it's a lot of Gibbs. They're playing games now. Gibbs can get 80%, 90% if they need. They just want to make sure he's fresh and he can get through the next 3 weeks.
Yep.
And this game is huge, but I just expect him to be involved. But there's a smoky there with Big Johnny Bates. But I just think Detroit Lions in the secondary, you're spot on. Jefferson he should have caught 3.
He should have had 3.
One was him, 2 or 3 was, he might have caught, not, it was obviously back to back.
He definitely should have had 2 though, for sure.
Mate, Darnold really struggled in the finals. I think it was pressure. It was a bit of time in the pocket, but you're not going to be getting that red zone offense here with Detroit. So we look up to the questions here, and there's a few there. A lot of them are about, Harrow, have we got any questions you can read out, King, before we get our next guest in the lobby, which is going to be, I'll give you a little heads up. He loves the NFL, and he's Alex de Minaur's head coach. Well, one of 2 coaches, I should say.
There you go.
Maddie Reed, he's going to join us soon. He loves NFL.
Yeah, saw the Ricks on last night.
He was even named in the paper as the commissioner of the NFL fantasy team, even though he's one of his 2 coaches. That's how much this bloke loves NFL. And Alex didn't even acknowledge he was the coach. He just said he's the commissioner. This is what we're talking about here, Aces. But
excellent.
Righto, Harrow, pop out some questions, mate, and then we'll get Maddie into the in for a chat.
Rightio, fellas. First one from Adam. Tommy, is Lamar going to throw the ball this playoffs or just be a bitch and keep running?
Oh, that is a disgrace. How can you have a go at Lamar Jackson? That's not funny at all. Have you seen your quarterback at the moment?
I thought I'm laughing purely at the delivery of what Harrow did this end. That was fantastic.
I reckon they might do a bit of both.
Don't you worry about Jalen. I know where he's at right now. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
How about Lamar last week? I thought my tip was as good as it gets. I said he'll run the ball and he'll score. Well, he ran the ball and didn't score. He ran the ball more than Derrick Henry in the first half.
He was on fire with it too. They couldn't stop him. Fire away, Harrow. I want a couple more.
I like that. I think he'll throw the ball on play action. I truly don't think Bills can stop their run game, and that means Lamar doesn't have to throw the ball that many times. But so his completions might be down, but I think he'll be able to get a couple on play action, especially if Flowers is back. Expect a deep ball to someone like Aguilar. Sometimes it's the wide receiver 3 that gets him. Funny question. Love that.
Rightio. Second question from Jacob Poiso, who actually has just signed at Roland Media, part of the Talking Dribble podcast. He's one of the hosts.
Come on, Harrow, we haven't got all day. Make it
turn it up. Anyway, he's got a question. Do you think Mike Tomlin will get sacked?
Nah. I think great question, and congrats to the boys starting the podcast at the Roller Media studio. I think Mike Tomlin's the hottest coach in the land. If I'm him, I'm leaving, and I'm going to take up that head coach, maybe at Dallas.
Yeah, I think a change of scenery probably would be good, to be honest. I don't think he gets sacked. I think it's probably going to be on him because whether or not what he wants to do, but I don't think the sacking's going to be there. So that'll be one to watch.
It will be one to watch. Speaking of one to watch, we've got one more question before we get Alex de Minaur's one of his coaches in the building here, who's just broken the news last night. No doubt my phone was blowing up from the product placement of the Rick's Blue Hat.
It was fantastic.
I've got to get the invoice there from Maddie. There's more airtime than I predicted. Harrow, one more question, mate, before we get Maddie Reed, former superstar tennis player and now Alex de Minaur's coach in the building, who loves NFL.
Big Joshy Rowe, where is Tyreek Hill going to go? What's he going to do?
Oh, man.
You spoke about this last week.
Yeah, we did.
You liked the one, and I actually liked your call, to be honest.
The Bills or Chargers
we said one of them, but you also said Cowboys. You said maybe the Cowboys was an interesting one. I actually don't mind it, to be honest. But the Chargers is the obvious one. Do they want that? Maybe as that type of player there for culture-wise? I'm not really too sure. Where else could he remotely go? I don't know. Green Bay probably needs someone as well. It could be another option for him. But again, I don't know.
When you think family, I don't think you want to go to Green Bay.
Yeah.
Just for because he's obviously at the end of his career. When I say end, he's not at the start.
Yeah.
I just think a perfect spot would be the Chargers. They do need a quick fix.
They do.
And they also need another draft pick.
Yeah.
And I think you can have him and the lad. Palmer's a good receiver. I think he's been injured all year. Quentin Johnson's had a breakout year. Yeah. I reckon Tyreek Hill would cause chaos, and Lad McConkey's the one. Yeah. He is he's Julian Edelman 2.0. He can do everything.
Yeah, he's a
star. So I just think if you just put someone that can create space and open up the middle of the field.
He's a genuine deep ball threat with a big arm.
Yeah, he's a really good player. Yeah. Any more questions, or should we jump into our next guest? Righto, let's jump in. We have our man waiting for us, Maddie Reed. Welcome to the podcast. Great man, fresh off the court, no doubt. How is the body feeling? Because I've heard the demon just running you ragged in training today at about 12 o'clock. How are you, big boy?
Hey, fellas. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate, good. What's been happening?
Oh, not much. Just got back from an average day at the courts. Pretty terrible weather, so we went out on the indoors and had a little session.
Now, mate, we don't want to talk too much tennis here because you don't really give us stuff right now. Me and Maddie tend to watch a lot of NFL together. That's how we've kind of got our friendship off the mark. And, mate, you love NFL almost more than me. It's great to have the Reedy in the building. Mate, Commissioner, named in the paper today, you're one of the two coaches for Alex Dion, but he's mentioned you as the Commissioner in an interview. He didn't even give you a mention as the coach. Were you happy with that, or were you a bit flat?
I was pretty happy about it, seeing as though I got the win in that league, and it was good to be recognised for my efforts this year, and I think I'm one of the most dedicated. So, yeah, it was nice.
Does he ever question your dedication as a coach versus being the commissioner? Does he sometimes see you, checking the PointsBet up, see if your multis are getting up, or if your boys are scoring touchdowns? Because I think you're in 5 leagues, aren't you?
I was in 4. 2 of them I didn't really care about, but yeah, he definitely has he gives me a look every now and then, especially when the weekend's on or the Monday. Over there, over here it's Monday. I got a few looks every now and then, and especially when I was in the final, and it was almost every day. The last week was the Friday, Thursday, all those games over the Christmas break. But once I won, I didn't really care, and I was over the moon.
That's brilliant. Now, I must say, because the Demon's going through a fair campaign here just to get started, and he's our great hope. He's
absolutely
ranked 8 in the world. I'm pretty sure, Maddie, and he's our number 1 seed for Australia. So he's out, be the chance to win it. But it must be tough when you got the playoffs on and you got to be, in the corner giving him some beats. Do you have the phone on? Do you have the red zone on in the corner, big boy?
Yeah, I've got my vibrations on, and every now and then, change of ends, I'll definitely have a look. I do love when there's a little railing in front of my knees, because I'll definitely have the app on my phone, let it the ticker on, and just keep scrolling up. It is hard to control yourself when you get a touchdown, especially when he loses points. So
that is excellent. That is excellent.
There's nothing like a touchdown, especially when you got 1 leg to go. Mate, we're going to talk about that Rick's hat you got on. I can't thank you enough. The amount of messages I got last night saying, is that Rick's? And I said, just wait till you see Leighton Hewitt. He'll have a little great man next to him. And don't worry about Leighton. The guy next to him has got the premium on his head.
Excellent.
Thank you, mate. That was outstanding. It looks good. I've got a couple more. The boys have sent a few more down for the next game. So make sure we'll catch up and get you in. What colour do you want next? We've got green, red, light blue.
Oh, I'll probably stick to the blue. I've got complimented a bit on it, to be honest. Yeah. So tomorrow at 1:30, I'll definitely be wearing it again on tomorrow's centre court. So hopefully he gets a bit of TV time.
Is that right? So it's a 1:30 game tomorrow?
Yeah, he's playing during the day tomorrow against an American. And, so I'm sure it'll be on Channel 9, I think it is. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Well, we'll have to make sure we send you some sunglasses. I mean, we're a sunglass company.
Maybe the shades have to get part of it too. Here we go.
Just on that, I thought he would have been at night time, but he's been scheduled during the day. He would have pulled up pretty well after last night's performance. It was, I felt like the guy who was playing was just a really good player, but he got smoked really 3 sets, but it wasn't a true reflection of the game. He was really good. I mean, that shot between the legs is the best shot I've ever seen in tennis.
Yeah, it was actually, when the draw came out, it was one of the tougher non-seeded plays you can get. that guy is very hot and cold. He actually had a run a couple of years ago at the US Open where he made the semi-finals, and last year he beat Carlos Alcaraz. So Alex came out on fire, which helped out because he was definitely a little nervous playing your first match at the Aussie Open. But yeah, that he definitely showed some brilliance there. But Botic, he with his crazy last name, he was good. Alex just won the big points at the end when Botic got a little bit nervous towards the end of the match.
It must be good seeing, when the opponent starts to really crack the shit. So I was actually sitting next to your mother last night, where you gave us the grouse seats, and I was just saying, if you're playing tennis and you're getting, once they lose the plot, it must be a good sign because they're kind of getting on top and they're about to explode, and they do tend to make more mistakes once they explode on the court.
Yeah, it's a real mental sport, and if you can imagine being by yourself for 2, 3, 4 hours and having to deal with winning and losing points, you can lose your marbles out there. And old Botic yesterday, he had a few tough moments, and it gives you confidence, and you got to build on that. And then Alex, he does a great job of keeping his head together, and he did a really good job of capitalizing on that yesterday.
Yeah, awesome. Now, new coaching box set up here. So you're right now on ground level there, and you're up close and personal. So how has that been for you so far? Is that a bit awkward for you, or you feel like they're pretty comfortable and being able to chat to, obviously, Alex a fair bit throughout the game to kind of help him with whatever he needs? How are you finding that right now?
I actually don't mind when he's up this end because it's quite easy to communicate, so it's not yelling at each other. And Alex has been, he's been winning, so it's been a much easier to actually have a proper chat with him when he hopefully he doesn't get down, but if he gets down, it might be a bit different. But it's more awkward when the opponent comes up your end, and they're literally right a meter away from you, using the towel. That becomes a little awkward.
Yeah.
Every now and then you want to say something to them, but you got to keep your mouth shut. If it gets a bit tight, maybe in the over the next few weeks, there might be a little sledge every now and then. I was going to say,
you might have to find some personal information just to go and get inside the oppo's head, man, maybe for a little bit and see how it goes.
You can get me. Hey, Maddie, if you need me on the boundary, man, I'll happily sacrifice myself. I can always watch it on the broadcast. It's beautiful broadcast.
Bit of Happy Gilmore in the background there. Classic.
A couple of questions here for you, Maddie. One from Tyler here. Would Reid rather the Demon win the Slam or be in attendance at the Super Bowl to watch his team win it?
That is unbelievable.
He's thinking about it.
I didn't expect that response straight away. I really didn't. That's excellent.
Well, seeing as though Miami can't win it, I'm going to have to take the Demon for the win.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We're just talking about Tyreek being a bit toxic in the locker room. What are your thoughts on Tyreek? Where will he go next year? What were your thoughts on his comments post-game? They were quite raw and emotional. That's what we're all like at times, but he did say he's done and he's out. He's out. He's had enough.
He's had enough.
What are your thoughts on Tyreek, mate?
I reckon it was just heat of the moment. A bit disappointing if it's true, because they don't have much else other than him at the moment. But I reckon he'll stay. I hope he stays. But if not, I'd say the Chargers he'll end up at.
Yeah, like that. We're thinking the same thing here. Question for Matt: how's life changed since he met Campbell Brown?
Well, I didn't know, as you guys know, I didn't know that many people outside of tennis when I first moved into the Grand. When I met Brownie, I didn't know what to expect, but there was a lot of spare time where we ended up just at the pub. And we stayed out till early hours in the morning, but no, mate, what a legend. So much fun. A ball of energy every time I was around him. It's disappointing that he's gone back, but also probably good for my health.
Yeah, definitely good for the liver. I give you the tip. But there's no one like the Brown Dog, mate. You've got a bit of a pep in your step. There's the Aussie Open. It's your event. What do you miss the most about playing? Because you used to have the big serve when you used to play, but now that you're a coach, is it a bit easier? I mean, it's a bit uneasy, obviously. You got to ride the emotional roller coaster, but the different role. How is it being a coach versus player, and your best memories from Aussie Open?
I I actually prefer it as a coach, to be honest, because the pressure of leading into a tournament, like it was always, I found, quite tough. And losing in tennis, because you're by yourself, even if you were in as doubles as a team, I was always playing with a guy like Nick or Alex. So they always had their singles to focus on. So it's a real lonely sport. So when I lost, I felt like I was by myself a lot of the time. Whereas as a coach, learning from what being a player, I've kind of tried to adapt that as a coach. And yeah, it's more of a team environment, and also the physicality. Like, I couldn't think of it preparing like a preseason for Aussie summer in the heat and the conditions you got to play in. Whereas as a coach, I get out there and I'll go for a run with the boys, but the mental stress is definitely nothing like what it was as a player.
Love it, mate.
So to answer your question, I much prefer being a coach because I prefer to watch better players play than me.
And have the NFL on the side. Now, I think you're filthy with that new coaching arrangement. You can't get caught out.
I was going to say, being down on the right down there in front of it, it's going to be tough to get the phone up there ready to go in that situation. So you might want to pop back up. Who knows?
Now, I've got a couple of questions.
Well, they actually on the down those little things, they've got little laptops.
Not laptops. You can stream every game.
Excellent.
Little iPads, and it is just the internet. So I did have a little look yesterday to see what you could look like.
I love that.
That's
awesome.
Demon wouldn't want me as coach. I'll give you the tip.
I'll tell you what.
Especially if he's down. What do you think I should do there, coach? Oh, man, I don't know. I just need Tyreek to score a touchdown and I win an absolute stack.
Yeah.
Now, Maddie,
you've got a great poker face.
Yeah, I know. A couple of questions here. What are the Giants going to do with pick 3 from Willie Ward?
Probably fuck it up. They will mess it up so badly like they have every other year.
What a disappointment of a franchise they are. Oh my God.
And I'm so happy with it. So it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know. They have to go a quarterback. To answer obviously your question, they have to go a quarterback. They've got no other choice. They simply have to choose a quarterback. I don't know who it's going to be, but they have to get a quarterback.
Yeah, they need something.
Yeah, exactly. Getting rid of Saquon and seeing what he did this year that just blew up in their face. And they need to keep everyone happy, so they need to get a franchise quarterback now.
Righto, Maddie, tips for this weekend. Who wins the Chiefs Texans?
It's hard to go past the Chiefs after about a month off, so I'm probably going to go the Chiefs.
Yeah, mate, we know you love a little prop bet and a touchdown scorer. Give us one from the whole game. No, don't get greedy, just what you think's a lock on a prop.
I'm going to go Nico Collins.
What? Touchdown or yards, and how many?
Oh, a touchdown and maybe 70 yards.
Like it.
I
think that's true.
Big Nico Collins fan.
Yeah, we love Nico as well.
That's good.
What about Washington taking on the Lions?
You got to go the Lions, don't you?
Yeah.
And obviously Jameer Gibbs is just going to go crazy.
Love that.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. The problem is you don't get any value.
You don't get any value. Maybe you double up on him. Maybe you get him to get a couple. Maybe you get a bit of value there. Or you choose him as the first one. Yeah.
We might need to cook something up this week, Sip. I reckon we can get a PointsBet special across all 4 games. Combination.
Yeah, I like it.
Someone like Gibbs could go 200.
I think so.
Next game, I mean, we're just going to get to the main one, which is last, because they're all kind of favourites. But Eagles, they will be hosting the Rams. This will be closer than we think, maybe. Who do you think will win that? And your prop and your touchdown scorer?
I want to go the Rams, but I just can't see it. You got to go the Eagles. I love the Rams and I love Cooper Kupp, but he's almost extinct towards the end of the season. So, yeah, I mean, the safe bet, you got to go Saquon, but I'm going to go to touchdown.
Yeah,
again.
I like it.
Yeah, he was impressive last week, and
that'd be quite a thing. I reckon PointsBet would have him at a pretty high one there. In fact, they have him at 450. So that's a touchdown at 450. So that's not a bad bet at all. I'd like that.
That's unbelievable juice.
Yeah, that's very good.
Unbelievable juice. 450 is disrespectful.
Happy days.
One more. The Bills and the Ravens, mate. This is the money. This is the money question.
That's the game of the week for sure. I'm going to go the Bills. I know you don't want to hear it, but I'm going to go the Bills.
Weak bastard.
That's good.
It's good. Why Bills, though? Tell me why.
Oh, they've been knocking on the door for so long. I just think Josh Allen's got a better arm. I know you've spoken to me about the Ravens' defense getting better and better, but I think they're due to have a shocker. I just think Josh Allen's more clutch.
That's
good.
We might have a jersey on it, Maddie.
The only guy that's really beaten him is Mahomes, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the Ravens smoked the Bills this year.
They didn't play each other, mate.
Under pressure in a big game, though.
Didn't Derrick Henry bust out a big run? Am I not? Harrow, can you help me out here?
He's dreaming.
I'm positive Derrick Henry busted out a huge run against the Bills this year. I must be dreaming.
You are dreaming.
It could have been one of your dreams.
There's no way they played each other this year.
Must have been the dream I had last night. It must be when he busted out a 70-yard touchdown, baby. And how am I going? Zay Flowers back this week.
Don't take it too personally, mate. You've asked for his opinion.
All right.
And you've given it. He's giving you the Bills, and that's all there is to it, son.
We'll be sitting next to each other.
You're right,
Harry, you got
Tommy.
a question?
You're right.
I am right.
Yeah, you're right.
I told you.
No, just leave it.
Don't leave it.
199 yards and a tutty.
They lost.
It was 35-10, wasn't it?
No, they gave him a belting, didn't you?
Last week he told me they didn't play. I was like, I thought they smoked them. And we were at home, though. We played at home, and we absolutely smoked them.
No, you did early in the year.
That's why Josh Allen won't win MVP, because Lamar smoked him. Maddie, thanks, Skipper. We got Skipper in the chat. We got Kenneth Walker Jr. at the back. We got it all happening here. Maddie, a couple of questions here for tennis. Thanks for the tips as well, mate. You're going to go 3 from 4 with them ones. Who's the toughest opponent you played in tennis in your whole career?
In doubles, I'd have to say I actually teamed up with a guy named Mark Polmans, a young Aussie, and we drew Yannick Sinner and Francis Tiafoe.
Yeah, nice.
Which, those who know Marky, he's a great doubles player, but his serve isn't the biggest. So when Yannick was winding up, I actually had just done my knee, so I couldn't move, and I was just sitting duck at the net. And I've never ever been that scared at the net when he was lining those forehands up.
Yeah, that'd be 200. They're 200
young,
plus.
Powerful. He's a big frame too. Jeez, number one in the world now for a reason.
I'd probably say those two together.
Yep.
I played Nick once or twice. He taught me a lesson. So yeah.
Do you think Nick will play? I mean, I know he's a bit like Tyreek Hill, in terms of post-match, just straight out with the emotions, which is why we love these big superstars. But do you think he'll quit on the singles?
Nah, I reckon that was a bit of an emotional call. I know he's battling a few injuries, but I definitely think we'll see him back there at the Aussie again.
Yeah, that's great to hear. So how's the cock going to go tonight, mate? Is he going to get it done? I'm not sure what the scores are probably. Is he on right now?
I left when it was 1-1, so I'm not sure the score, but I think it's a tough one. I think he's battling a few injuries, but and Jack Draper is one of the best in the world.
Yeah, he is.
If he gets up, I think it'll be a great effort.
Yeah, well
I
said.
think him winning the first round was a great effort with how he was feeling, but yeah. Hopefully he gets a bit of luck tonight.
It's a pity that he went in there with a bit of an injury. And mate, who's the GOAT? Yeah. Roger, Novak, or Rafa, in your opinion?
Based on numbers, you can't go past Novak. But like me personally, I like saying Roger just because if I think of tennis, I think of Roger Federer. He made the game look easy. He's so marketable. He was great off the court as well. Like you'd never hear someone say a bad word about Roger Federer. So my biased opinion, I'd say Federer, but by the numbers, you can't go past Novak.
Yeah, great. That's great.
Well said, mate. Yeah, well, he's won 10, hasn't he? 10 Aussie Opens. Has he won 10?
9, maybe 9.
Something ridiculous.
Yeah.
When you walk down the halls, it's funny. You see all the names, and they've usually got their year of winning, and his is just
everywhere.
Unbelievable. It's about, you literally stop counting after about 4. You're like, oh, that's too good.
And you're walking past these blokes every day, aren't you? Like underneath there, just how you going, mate? Like it's just all the superstars just rolling around, aren't they?
Yeah, I tried to explain it to I think you guys the other when I first got in the building was when the guys play, they're actually in the same locker room. So, like, depending on where you place your locker at the start of the week, you can actually be playing the guy who you're in the locker next to. So you sit maybe a meter away from them before they call you out. So, yeah, you see them every day walking in and out, and it is a quite awkward experience sometimes when you're playing the guy that's sitting next to you, or you've got to ask them to move to get your stuff out of your locker. So that's where it's a weird sport. You don't actually sit too far away. Sometimes you are literally touching knees at times if the locker room's that small.
Crazy.
Amazing.
Well, mate, thank you so much for jumping in. All the best for the rest of the tournament and the year. And no doubt we will have potentially a new member in the Oz American Aces NFL Fantasy. We need to expand. The commissioner wants some tennis representation, and I think Alex Demonor and Maddie Reed would be a good start.
We love that.
I don't think the cock is into his NFL, but no doubt when he sees the prize money, his eyes might light up. The cock doesn't get out of bed for anything less than 200.
No, I don't think so. I heard it was 100K. He doesn't get out of anything for.
He wouldn't even get on a flight to Russia for first class for 2 days for less than 200.
Oh, that's great.
But no mention of the goat Paddy Rafter. Sorry, Maddie Lockyer. There's in the questions there. It wasn't posed in the question, but did you ever have anything to do with Paddy Rafter as a young fella? Who was someone that you looked up to before you took off?
Yeah. Speaking of Rafter, he was my hero. My old email address was Matt_Rafter. So yeah. Now I've never actually told him that, but I've seen him. I actually saw him today. We had a little chat because he's into his paddle tennis, and what a ripper guy! Like exactly what you see and what you think. He's just the nicest guy. Quiet, doesn't really like the limelight, but yeah, just a great guy.
Love it. Mate, thank you so much for jumping on. We know it's quite late, and you are working like 10 men at the moment. You've got your NFL, you got the Alex Demonor, who's our number 1 seed, and you're training and up late. No doubt last night was a win just with the 3 sets. So, mate, get some rest. We'll get your tips up, and we'll see how they go. But it's all going to be downhill for the Bills defense. They'll be chasing some serious ass when the Derrick Henry just busts one of those big runs again, a bit like the 35-10 matchup early in the year that Sip told me didn't happen. Fucking hell, I thought I was having nightmares. So I'm like, what is wrong with my brain?
I'm just sick of you talking about it, mate. Move on.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Mate.
And thank
Thanks
you
for
for wearing
jumping
that blue hat.
Right.
Let's get it live tomorrow,
No
1:30,
worries.
baby.
Yeah, sounds good. See you guys.
See you, mate.
Cheers, guys. Thanks, mate.
Righto, let's get back into the show. We've got a couple more games to break down. Sip, we're going to cook up some specials again. So, guys, if you love to have a little bit of a little wager, obviously gamble responsibly, but we've got our own little NFL specials on the PointsBet app. Make sure you check that out because it's been a lot of fun, and we've got a lot of time to cook these up. There's only 4 games, and there's a lot of patterns of behavior. I feel like we can get some specials. Very stiff with the Vikings-Rams, but the Bucks Washington one got up at $9.
Very nice.
Let's get back into the chat. Harrow, give us your 2 best questions, and then we're going to get into the last 2 games and wrap this up. But I've got one more guest that I want to get in here for a quick chat.
Righty, this one's from JB. Bolt up or bolt down for next year, guys?
Depends what they do with wide receiver. If they get a good wide receiver, I'm bolting up all the way, no doubt, because I think the defense is good enough, and another year under Harbaugh, they'll be ready to go. So bolt up.
I will monitor off-season movements. They need a wide receiver. They need 2 players on offense actually, and maybe someone to protect the O-line. They've got Joe Alt, but they need a little bit more. I just want to see them get going a bit more on offense. So, yeah, bolt up. They'll finish second in their division, though, behind the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. One more.
Next one from Tyler Hind. Any chance of an Amari Cooper sighting this week?
Oh, don't get me started. Amari Cooper and Jake Ferguson and almost Hawkinson. I got me Hawkinson money back this week, but those blokes are non-existent.
I just really thought he would. Like that Bills move was a fantastic move, and I just thought, yep, all right, they're really locked in to make something happen here. And it's just, I don't know what's going on. There's definitely been some stuff that's happened off field. That's no doubt about it. I'd love to see it happen. I just don't think it does. But I'd love to just see him be able to just 50, 60 yards really, maybe a sneaky little tutty as well. But yeah, it's going to be tough against that Ravens defense, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, if there's a place to get it, it's the pass game and not he's not the number. Well, Satan actually went to him a little bit.
Yeah, but I think the Ravens defense has improved so much, and I just think that the passing game, it's a completely different ball game to what it was the first half of the year. So everything that we've been said that was definitely true. Their passing game, if you want to beat Baltimore, you can throw the ball. I don't think it's the same anymore. So I think that'll be a really close one to watch.
All right, let's get into the last couple of games, Sip, before I bring in our last guest and we close out this live show. To everyone in there, get your questions going. I've got it up in front of me. My phone's right here. We got Harrow on the you just yell them out, Harrow. Yell them out as they are. I can see you, Skibber. I can see you guys. You guys have been outstanding in the chat. By the way, I don't know if I said anything, but the best question gets a pair of sunnies. I've got the Soho cherries right in front of me. I think someone mentioned them before. See these puppies right here, guys.
Yeah, look at them.
I'm going to send...
Geez, they're good.
Sip, you're going to pick the best question, all right?
Oh.
So, I mean, so far we've seen a couple of crackers, but I want to see some more engagement and some great questions. And I'll send you a pair of Rixies myself tomorrow morning when I wake up and go to the Oz Post. Righto, while I find Sip's jersey that's been lost. So keep them coming while we break the next two games down. Sip, let's go. 2 games to go.
Yep.
But I must say, the Amon-Ra is my lock for this week's touchdown. I just think you go to your best players. The De'Ami Brown comments have been popping up. I don't think De'Ami Brown will be the same this week. You've got to think a bit more attention. If he is, whatever. Terry McLaurin should have a big day. They've got no cornerbacks. Yeah. This game should be one of the most exciting games, to watch.
Yep.
Is this Lions and Washington game?
Yep.
And with the line being at 9.5, I just think there's no way it can be that much, can it? I mean, you'd be a brave man to do either or, but $1.90 doesn't interest me. I just think at $1, like a night, maybe tease it to like 14 plus, and you get $1.50.
Yeah.
It's just too much. Washington's only lost every game they've been in.
They've been in the whole time.
Every game.
Yeah.
Their defense, like Quinn,
They stand up.
Quinn doesn't let you he just doesn't get smoked.
Yeah, they stand up.
So let's make sure we keep going.
I love it.
Someone's written in here, Tommy, I need the cherries to hide the tears from your Ravens beating my Steelers last week. Oh, mate, you need more than that. You might need some more tissue. I've got some more tissue paper if you want it, son. Wipe your eyes with this, because I've run out of the other one. The Steelers one was used last week. Right, Sip, let's get into it. We're getting off track.
Well,
next 2 games.
Rams and Eagles is the next one, and it's a big one. I think it's another close one. I think the way the Rams have been playing has been outstanding. We saw what they did last week. A lot going on over in LA right now, and there a lot being moved around for them, having to change where they go and play, and they just stood up and delivered. You've got a quarterback that has won the whole thing before. He's been a great player for a long time. You've got a young running back who's just a bull. You've got a young wide receiver that is on absolute fire right now, and you know what you're going to get from the Rams, but can you stop it? And right now, it's been hard to do. Not many teams have been able to stop it over the last 6 to 8 weeks because they've been on absolute fire. However, going into the environment that the Philadelphia Eagles bring is a different ball game. Those fans are different. Going there is way different. Bit of colder weather for you, so something that you're probably not used to over in LA. And the environment is hostile as it gets. I think they were a bit slow to go with last week, Philadelphia, but I think a week now, Jalen's had a game under his belt. It's a week there to be ready to go. They know what they want to do. They're the better team on paper, and I think they just have a bit too much firepower, and they should be able to get over the Rams. They won pretty comfortably last time. I think it's closer, but I think that I think still the Eagles get the job done. You're going to be looking towards Saquon, as always. He had a monster game against them last time, over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. It was an absolute massive game, and you'll be looking to him again. But the guy that was really, really quiet last week that I think can get off is A.J. Brown. Obviously, we're not too sure how healthy he is right now, but if he's healthy, he didn't have to do a whole lot last week, and I'll be expecting him to be able to get some yards. I'll be looking for 80+ there and a tutty as well to get involved there. That I think that's the way it looks for me. And I just think they have too much firepower in the end, and the Eagles get the job done.
Nakobe Dean out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Your linebacker, he's torn a patella tendon. It's not good.
It's not good.
What's that going to do to the team?
It's not good, but at the same time, Nakobe missed 4 to 5 weeks throughout the year already with an ankle injury too. So there was a chunk of games that he missed there, particularly in the middle to back end, where the Eagles really started to get going on defense. And while he is a big loss, he's a guy that moves around really well. He's a really smart player and knows the defense, obviously, back to front. I think they have enough avenues to be able to cover that spot relatively well. And Zach Braun has obviously been an absolute star for him this year, and he's been the go-to guy there from the linebacker position. So I'm not too concerned with it. Will Stafford try and look in that area? Yeah, he will, particularly with the way Higbee got going last week. They'll definitely be looking in that area early, but I think they have enough firepower and enough guys that are quick enough around on defense to be able to nullify them and win the game.
Love it. Give us your tip. Your touchdown and your best prop at the moment.
You know who I'm going for here in this game. I don't need to say that again. We know who I'm going for there, and as I said, I think for a touchdown, as I said, you're going to be looking towards AJ Brown for an anytime touchdown. I think he's the one that can get going. He's very quiet last week, but it's very rare for someone like AJ Brown to have 2 quiet weeks in a row, and I expect to see him in the end zone.
110.5 is Saquon's rushing line on PointsBet. We get $1.48 for 95, but more importantly, I'm looking for the juice. You get, $2.35 for 125. I think if you take Saquon and you take AJ for the tutty, I mean, that's a nice multi, really.
It's a nice one. I definitely agree with there for sure.
Now, mate, we've got another game to get through, and I'm going to save the Ravens for last, but it's very important that we get our next guest involved. This man has, he's gone the early crow. He's probably an Adelaide Crows man, no doubt, because Big Danny Bean in the building, our leader on the tipster board. He's the king of the tips. And there's a bit of drama, so I thought I'd cut it tonight.
This is terrific. I love it.
Welcome to the show, Daniel.
Thanks, boys. Cheers for having me.
That's great.
Mate, you are the king. You're sitting at the top of the leaderboard, but I must say you needed to change your undies this week because you shut the bed. You went 3 from 6, and the pressure's on. You only need to just tip, I think,
That's
3,
great.
2 wrong compared to the sit, and you'll hold on. But, mate, you're just hanging in there.
That's great.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, I know. I went to Early Crow a little bit a few weeks ago, so I definitely need to keep it up now. But not great on the weekend. But I'm hoping a few easy ones this week might steady the ship.
That's great.
I must say, the only way the Sip could probably win is if he goes upsets at least one this week to claw back.
Yeah. Who you tipping? Bills, Ravens. I'll go the opposite just to really shake it up and get it nice and
just
close.
Say Ravens, brother, because if he goes the Bills, he'll be down another one.
Nah, that's good.
I'll go the Ravens, and I reckon you might have to go the Texans this week, Sip.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. I reckon, in all honesty, if there's any other upset that I'll be looking at, it's probably the Commanders.
Yeah,
that's the way I'm probably looking at it. So that's another. I reckon that's my sneaky one there if I do it. But I'm probably not ballsy enough to be able to get that done.
Well, it's an interesting game. If you just go straight this week, you still could go. You could just go underdogs the next 2 games.
You definitely
Philly
could.
Lions.
Yeah. Look,
I'd imagine either or.
He's in a good spot. But it's still a little shaky. I can see a little trimmer in him right now. It's still a little shaky right there for him. So he wants to make sure this week to be able to get it done.
I just see the tips here. The Vikings, Daniel, I'm looking at the top, the top 7, top 10 tipsters, and Sip and Maddie there, Maddie B. I can't see his last name, but usually, the only ones, they were the only ones who went the Rams. I was big on the Vikings, so that was a shock, and you went the Chargers as well. So what were you thinking there? It was a disappointing game from Darnold, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought they had a bounce back in them. I thought that they were better than what they showed against Detroit. So I thought at the very least it would be a 50-50, see who had the ball at the end. Didn't come down to that at all. And then, the Chargers were really disappointing. I really thought that they were a good thing on the weekend, and they were a big letdown.
Yeah, good. How long you been following it for? How long you been following the NFL for now?
Not that long, to be fair. I'm typically an AFL and an NBA man, but it's been a few years, and fantasy NFL definitely helps get the knowledge up for sure.
Yeah, how'd you go in the NFL fantasy this year?
Oh, I lost the grand final in controversial circumstances, but it was a stiff loss.
We like this.
We like this because there are a couple of commissioners in the room. We'd love to know what happened.
I like this.
My running back was Montgomery, and he went down obviously the week before the grand final kicked off. So I was eyeing off Jerome Ford, given that Chubbs broke his foot, and a bloke that I previously eliminated beat me to him on the waivers, and I had to put up with Patrick Taylor from the Niners, and he stunk it up. So yeah, and I lost by not much.
Oh, and Ford went off, didn't he?
Yes. Ford had a good game.
Ford had like 25,
Yeah.
and Taylor had like 2. So, and I lost by like 4. So I would have won pretty comfortably if I had that. But oh well.
We did the same. We picked up. We had a lot of Favre left, and we went hard at Ford. And then he looked like he was going to get injured, but he came back on and dominated.
Dominated. Yeah, it was big. Absolutely.
Oh, that's outstanding. Give a shout out to the guy that won your comp, mate. Who was it? It was one of your good mates.
Nah, I don't want to shout him out. He doesn't deserve it.
I love
We
that.
love that. Now, is there a punishment involved in your league? And if there is, I'd love to know what it is.
We should have really teed it up before the season. There is one, but it's currently up for debate. So, any suggestions? Sling them over.
All right. Okay, here we go.
I think the McDonald's one is the best. Where
the McDonald's is definitely a good one. The cheeky, the sneaky one, obviously, is also if you go to a pub and 24 pots, I should say, and if you eliminated out of there, so that's also an interesting one.
Michael Hibbard sent that to me last night and said, "This isn't a punishment. This is a reward."
That's great.
You know the best one, I reckon? A blow-up doll you got to take to a fancy restaurant and sit across and have chat with it, and have a meal and ask what they think of the food and service, and they have to be there for 30 minutes while their mates
that's excellent.
get to film them talking to a blow-up doll. I just think I reckon that would be very funny.
Very good.
I think everyone wins, even people around the restaurant.
Well, the best one that I've obviously seen, and this is going to be very hard to do, but Luke Combs obviously was obviously in one, and now he's out next month, so that's obviously super exciting. But he was in a league, and his mates, whoever finished last, had to go out on stage and sing one of his songs, and it was unbelievable. You should have seen it, the whole setup. He's sponsored obviously by Miller Lite or Bud Light or something like that. And they've just brought out the esky there, and they're in the overalls, and they're singing one of their songs. Absolutely lit up and having the time of their lives. But yeah, that would be an interesting one too, having to go out there and do some form of karaoke or something like that. I actually put on a 30-minute performance at a local bar or something like that. That'd be pretty funny too.
People in the chat, let us know what the worst punishment would be. I know we used to have in the footy club, if you got fined, you had the chance to pay a hectic fee, or you did stand-up comedy for a minute, or sing a song for a minute. And I tell you what, that was a lot of the rookies weren't paying. They were singing and they were doing a 1-minute speech, and it was some funny stuff. Even if it's not funny, it's hard not to laugh.
Too good.
Danny, give us your tips this week, mate. I know it's a competitive competition, but you're up by 3. It's almost impossible. Just go through every game, mate. Which ones you like, and is there any upsets?
I'll stick with Detroit pretty comfortably, I reckon there. Gibbs will definitely get over, I would think, but I think there's a bit of value in Laporta at anytime touchdown. Chiefs, Texans, I'll go Chiefs, and I think Nico probably has a good long reception, so if you can find something there on him having a long reception over maybe 30-odd. The Eagles will win, and Saquon probably gets over, but maybe AJ Brown might be something for any time. And then I'll stick with the Ravens just because I don't want to get in trouble.
No, mate, I don't want to be like that, mate. I want you to tip the Bills. Tip the Bills, mate. Keep it interesting.
Oh, no, I love it. That's excellent.
Yeah, I'll go with the Ravens.
Thanks so much for your support. We wish you all the best. No doubt I should be in contact with you in 2 weeks.
You should be pretty comfortable.
Pretty hard to lose from there. And if anything, you'd be a draw, so you'd still win. So, mate, well done on a super season to be involved in. I don't know how many people's in here. I can almost check, but there's 176 people, and you're in front by 3. So well done, mate. It's a big effort from you, and I look forward to sending you the prize back in a couple of weeks.
Good.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Cheers for that, boys.
Thanks for jumping on, mate. Good work.
Have a good night, and good luck this week. Go the Ravens.
Thank you.
All right, Sid. Well, it's time.
It is
time.
It's time.
It's time to get into the game.
It's time.
And I
might just leave it to you. I might just leave it to you.
Well,
I just got a funny feeling that if I start here, I'm not going to be able to finish. So I may as well just give it to the man and let him do his thing, to be honest.
I'll tell you what, if you're a Bills man, I've seen a couple of blokes in the crowd, they smack beers on their head. That bloke that pours beers on his, he'll be pouring tears on his bald head this week. The big boy will not be showering in beers because he'll be watching Derrick Henry go for 150 and break their hearts. They aren't ready, the Bills. They're a couple years off, and I'm telling you right now that Derrick Henry is going to explode. This bloke means business. Lamar, if he wants play action, but they're going to be unstoppable. And I think you can't put 30 points up on the Ravens. If you do, Lamar will outscore you. Hey, this should be a good game, but I just hope it's not a tough watch. When the Ravens are leading, it's much easier. Obviously, the run, the clock. I just think the reason we'll win, it's simple, Sip. Take the emotion out of this. We carry on like pork chops. I do anyway. But it's the run game, and they cannot get the run going against this run defense on paper. Our run defense has been amazing all year. So you take the run away from them. Josh Allen, he hasn't had to force it all year. Cook, I think he's broken the franchise record. He goes for 100 every week, it feels like, when they win. I don't know. And 35-10 early in the year. I don't think it'll be the same scoreline. I think the Ravens by 7.
Yeah. No, look, I think you've said it very, very, very well there. I just think the Baltimore's game is at a very, very high level right now. I sound like a broken record. I obviously keep saying it, but things have changed now for their passing defense, and it has made it 10 times harder for the opposition to be able to score against them. The passing game, they were averaging massive numbers against. It was almost 300 a game, I think, earlier in the year. Teams were just going, let's just flick it around and do our thing, and that's what's going to be part of it. You can have your run game. We'll have our passing game because we think that can get the job done. Hamilton moving into that safety position has changed everything. The run game, their run defense is still elite, and the passing game has slowly started to get better each and every week, and it's making it hard to be able to do it. So overall, I think Baltimore is the better team, and good luck stopping Lamar or Henry. And when you've got Mark Andrews going the way he is right now and just being able to get into different spots and back to what he used to be, I know it was the first 5 weeks were tough, but he is back to his best. And I genuinely see the Ravens being able to get this game done for sure. I think they're too good.
Love it. Well, I like the fact that you're on the same page here, mate. Let's go through all the questions here and we'll finalise the show. It's been a cracker. Love everyone that's tuned in. Obviously, plenty happening in the world at the moment, but good to get a little live show going.
Absolutely. No, I really appreciate it. This has been awesome, and the fan base continuing to grow. It's been excellent. And we've got obviously our Osborne Super Bowl event. Absolutely. I'll be interviewing you. We'll be asking a few questions. Hopefully we haven't already spoken about, but new crowd and more giveaways. But let's go through it. Quick fire. Because we've still got our hot takes I need to go through with you. Ooh. Tommy, I need those cherries to hide my tears. Yep, love that from you, Adam. Sadi, Sip, which crowd was awesome to play in front of, the AFL or NFL? Which crowd was more, which one was bigger? Yeah, no, NFL was definitely bigger. I think the atmosphere in that is totally crazy. So I will have to go with the NFL crowd. Absolutely amazing to be able to kind of experience that too. So every week, no matter where you're playing, there's some big numbers and big crowds, and the college and NFL experience just was amazing. Connor Young, Sip, would you still do the show if Tommy was Bo Nix and he was wearing a New York Giants jersey? I'd still do the show if it was Bo Nix. The jersey, the jersey, however, is very, very tough. There's no doubt about that. The Giants one, that's a tough gig. Must be fun watching them. Nelson's written in, any danger Lamar's mum can rev him up pre-game. Gee, the boys are dangerous when he runs the nut. Philly win it. Wow, there's a lot going on there, Nelson. He's telling us that he loves watching him run the nut and Philly win it. That is awesome. I love it. Wow. Well done, Nelson. Okay. Willie Ward, no Giant slander, please. Hard enough as it is, Willie. I'll tell you what. Wait until April when they blow it again. When you say Willie, I think floppy. It ain't. That's all you're getting when you're watching. That's a bit. It's 9 o'clock. We can get away with that. Maddie Lockyer, Kelsey calling out the Bengals to Costco car park is grade A carry on. I'm taking the Bengals in the car park. I reckon that's not bad as well. I think that's excellent. That's a bit of go. Train, what would be your go-to celebration if you scored a touchdown? I reckon I'd do the doggy and piss and keep and I'd keep walking to the change rooms on my knees. I don't give a fuck. I'd piss all over the logo. That is excellent.
Which colour Philly jersey does Sipper want from the Any Given Sunday boys?
Oh, which colour?
You probably don't want that one you got.
No. We'll go there. We'll go there normal. We're normal green. They're midnight green colour.
Midnight green. Any jersey number on the back?
No, we'll go Saquon.
Oh, Saquon. That's nice. What about, would you like, I mean, I'm just thinking here, we should have a little bet this week, or maybe the Super Bowl, maybe that book. Have you seen the book that AJ Brown's been reading? It's up. I've got it here. I sent it to you. So this book, we've all seen it, but I need to get it up here, but I don't want to be wrong with the stat. I must have sent it to you on the personal page, but I'm pretty sure it's up 53 million%.
I think it is.
Here we go. Trending today. The book AJ Brown was reading on the bench is up 53 million% on Amazon. That is crazy. It's called Inner Excellence, and you can get it for $17.97.
Big numbers.
Can you imagine the bloke out there, right? This is what you talk about your moment. You've written this book. No one gives a fuck about it. And then AJ Brown decides to take it to the bench, and now this bloke is probably a millionaire.
Unbelievable.
Overnight.
Just like that.
Overnight success. Who else is an overnight success, you reckon? Can you think of another one? You boys think
anybody in the world talking about a better overnight success.
Overnight like that.
Yeah.
Hawk Tour.
Yeah.
Ray gun.
Talk to it, baby. Ray gun. There you go. There's three.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Hawk Tour, Ray gun, and Inner Excellence.
The book's by far the wins, though. Gee.
Well, it's
amazing.
a product off the top, isn't it?
Right.
It's crazy. Right, I'll get back into it. Sip, what time's book club at AJ Brown's house? That might be the leader. Sammy Casey might be taking home the case of Rixie's right there.
Not bad. Not bad. Well done. Harrow, you got any more? What do you got?
Got a couple questions for you. From JB, do the Seahawks persist with Geno?
Oh, that actually is a very good question.
Well, he hit his bonuses this year, therefore they would put the bonuses in his contract because they thought it'd be a good year. He had a good year.
I'd say they do. I say they continue on with it.
I think with any business, sport, whatever, when you move players, it fucks with the culture. And I think he's done enough to have one more crack at it. Their offensive coordinator got sacked.
They were leading with about 5 weeks to go in the division there, and they were leading. So, yeah, I think definitely stick with him.
No one expected them to win.
No.
Remember I told you they weren't smoky? They just missed it. They were $9.
Yeah.
They were by far the worst team in their division.
Yeah.
They've had a big step up this year.
Yeah.
He deserves at least another couple.
Yeah.
Unless he had a stinker next year.
Yeah, good one.
Great question. What else you got, Harrow?
I'm actually going to throw one of my own questions in. Have a crack at the Sunnies. I don't know if you boys are any dynasty leagues, but are there any rookies coming through in the draft that you're keeping an eye out of for next year's fantasy?
Good question, Harrow.
That's a great one. Well, if you go early, you're going to have to be looking at Travis Hunter for sure. He's obviously, I would expect to be a really, really high pick in the draft. So fantasy-wise, I would be trying to jump on him
if he plays
for
cornerback?
sure. Well, that's obviously the other thing. If he played, that's also great. If he's wide receiver, I'd be jumping on him like there's no tomorrow. Corner, well, he's obviously out the door. And then if you're looking for a quarterback, if for your dynasty, you're kind of looking, seeing what you got. Ward, obviously from Miami Hurricanes right now, had a very, very good year, and I'd say he'd be an option for a franchise quarterback in your dynasty. So that's where those are my two options, as long as Hunter is playing in that wide receiver position.
Yeah, love it. I mean, I've never played that. I never played dynasty, so it's tough. I wouldn't give up on rookies this year as well. I reckon there's a few gems that. Look at McMillan from the Bucks. Play like blokes like that. They're just starting to get going. Godwin might be on the move. He might be going to the Chargers. Great question there, Harrow. You're in the running for the pair of Rixies. A couple more questions here. Maxi Rowe, if the Chiefs three-peat, will Kelsey retire, and will he be the greatest tight end of all time?
You would. I still think Gronk is right up there. But no, I think you have to. I think you do. I think he is the greatest yet of all time from a tight end position. Yep.
Yeah, Ashton Genty. There's a lot of chat here about running backs. They're definitely
Genty's
the one, especially if he goes.
Genty's excellent.
I think if he goes to the Chargers and they do have another receiver.
Arizona State kid's pretty good too. But yeah.
Just on that, we've got a question here from Joshy Rowe. Ohio State or Notre Dame?
I'm going to go Notre Dame. Yep.
Notre Dame. How about I say Notre Dame? How am I going?
You're right, mate.
Just never got into college. More
No,
of
it's
an
all
NFL
good.
man.
No, that's all good.
Garrett Wilson to the Steelers. Chat's on fire here.
Need a quarterback, but yeah, definitely a possibility. Yeah, he could be a Chargers one. Trade Chargers, great, love it.
Chargers would be perfect.
Yeah.
Got one here for myself. Train, would you trade your one Brownlow vote for one NFL game? I'd trade my whole football career for one snap. One chance at the pigskin.
That is excellent.
One chance, just a go route, baby. No one is
answer.
defending me. Just one fucking
answer.
chance.
That is unreal. That is unreal.
I would throw the whole thing in the bin for just one route down the sideline in the final, mate.
So good.
Kyler Murray out of Arizona.
Oh, no.
You're hearing it here first, Sip. He'll be traded to the Giants.
Wow.
Yep.
You reckon?
He's out. Giants.
They'll find a way to fuck that up too.
Yeah, Giants will give pick 3 or something. They'll take, I don't know, but I just feel like they're miles off it and they need something.
That's great.
Which city does Tyreek Hill pop another bun in the oven?
Probably. He might try and go maybe a bit higher. Maybe he'll try like Boston or something like that. He might try.
I'm thinking like, if he goes to the Chargers, that's a night.
He's in trouble.
That's a recipe.
He's
for
in
disaster.
trouble.
If the Ravens lose, will Train feel worse than he did when he dropped the mark for Cyril to seal the game? Fuck, Tyler, it's a touchy subject, mate. Nothing will make me feel worse than that. Jesus Christ, Tyler.
Those get the cherries.
Yeah. I'm not fucking sending them. There's no chance. You'll be packing them yourself.
That's a lie. That's a lie. Doesn't count.
I love that. And a bit of talk about Lynn Sanity from Foss Jam. Jeremy Lynn overnight. Remember him?
Yes, that was big time actually. Yeah, very true. Very true.
Last one here before we round it out. But Train, would you play middle linebacker to try and run through Meatball at running back? Oh, mate, there's no chance I'm playing that position. I'd rather run Gatorade out to the boys at quarter time than put the pads on.
Squirt the Gatorade in the mouth, mate. There we go.
Righto, Sip. Here you go. I'll pass you the phone. Pick the best question, mate. Read out the name. Who is taking home the Soho Cherries, brother? The Rixies. Obviously, if you miss out, you got the discount code ACES there. But who is taking home the Rixies? Who asked the best question in your book? And by the way, guys, thanks to everyone for jumping on tonight. It's been a lot of fun. It's been good to get back to you instead of writing in and reading him out as a hot take. Good to engage.
Look, I'll have to give it to old Connor Young there. It was very, 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 very solid question. If Tommy was Bo Nixon in a New York jersey, that's been the banter all year. So well done to Connor Young. You will pick up this beautiful pair of Rick's eyewear, the best in the business. So congrats to you.
I'll give a round of applause.
Yeah, there we go.
Because I thought my man was stiff, but it's Sip's game. Now, great man, get in the DMs on Ausmerican Aces. Please send me all the details so we can get back to you. Righto, Sip. Let's round it out. Quick fire. But we're going to go through the tips just one more time. And big thank you to everyone that's joined in tonight and our special guests. It's been awesome. We're going to start off with the Chiefs and Texans. Give me a scoreline.
Who wins and scoreline?
Yeah, the actual scoreline.
Yeah, actual scoreline. Chiefs win 28-16.
I can see this one being a 30 to the Chiefs and 20 to the Texans.
Okay, good.
I think the Chiefs offense starting to roll.
Yep.
Next game, Washington Lions.
Washington and the Lions. I'm going to go a 30-27. I think it's going to be relatively high scoring, 30-27 in favor of the Lions.
I've got 40-30.
Wow.
I've got a monster game here. Highest one on the slate.
Yep. Excellent. Yep. Love it.
And the Lions will win.
Yep. Good call.
Even though that's 10 points and the Lions 9.5. Maybe it's 33-40.
There you go. That's better. Rams, Eagles. You go.
Yeah, Eagles by. It's almost double figures for me. They're a different beast. Minnesota were pathetic. I was so disappointed with them. It really ruined my day, actually, because that game was the game of the round, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And they were as bad as I've seen.
Yep.
Jefferson not getting over 60 yards is just it shouldn't happen. So this is a different beast. But I just don't think you can stop AJ Brown on a deep ball.
Yep.
And I don't think you can stop Saquon. And this defense is a bit different.
Yeah, they're a bit different.
Different.
I think so too.
So I'm going to go 30.
Yep.
20.
Okay. I think I still think it's going to be relatively close. I'm going to go 30-24.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why.
I think Cooper Kupp will score as well.
Yeah, I think 30-24. I think that's what I'm looking
Cooper
at.
Kupp, Saquon, AJ Brown.
Yep.
Thanks for coming.
Excellent. Baltimore and the Bills, mate.
You know my tip.
Ooh, we know the tip. We know the tip. We're both going the Ravens. I honestly think the line's probably being very, very generous. I see the Ravens. I see the Ravens being able to win. By 10.
Double figures.
I
don't think he's been beaten by double figures much in his career.
I think they do. I just think that's how good Baltimore are going right now on both sides of the ball. I see a 30-20 game.
What concerns me is the air still. Russell did slice him like butter in the second half, which doesn't really matter. But I can see this being high scoring. I'm going to go 33-27.
Excellent. There you have it.
Well done.
There you have it.
Thanks to everyone behind the scenes here, Brado, Harrow, everyone that's tuned in. It's a big show. Our best bets will be on the PointsBet app. We're going to cook up specials. We're going to put our best up. Might even stick to a couple of games this week because it's like when you spread them out over every game, it's it's disappointing. But we'll work it out. But our winner,
Connor Young,
get in the DMs, great man. I can't send him if I don't have your details. To everyone else, thank you so much. It's a lot of fun doing this. There's a lot more of this coming, not only with the NFL, we've got the AFL season around the corner, but most importantly, it's all about the NFL and the Super Bowl party at the Osborne. If you're in Victoria, get there. It's a great venue. We're going to have a lot of fun. And if you enjoyed this live stream, let us know because we'll do more of them, especially Super Bowl week. We've got something special and we've got some big guests around the corner. Pretty busy time at the moment, so it's hard to get everyone in studio, but great to see the Meatball and our special guests that joined as well, Reid and the lads that tuned in. All right, Daniel and Tommy,
more.
thank you. Hang on, Harrow's got one more for us.
Just a quick shout out to Sam Casey. He just said to you fellas, on your boys, for a first year following the sport, you guys have been prevalent in me becoming the addict I am now.
Oh, there you go.
Excellent.
What a man. Give him another pair of sunnies.
Nah, honestly, that's good to hear.
Yeah,
that's really good to hear. And again, the fan base is what makes this happen, and plenty more to come, as Tommy said. So it's exciting times.
I appreciate it. As I said, we see the numbers every week. It's a solid community, and we've got a little plan to somehow get more going. So thanks for reading that out, mate. Thank you to everyone that gets in contact with us every week. And we can't wait this week. Let's hope it's better than Wildcard week, Sip. Because last week I was pretty flat with the games, but this week should be the top tier. This is the last chance to get 4 games. This is the best. And can you believe it? The AFC, exact same as last year.
Yeah.
Some things don't change.
That's right.
All right, guys. Thank you. We'll see you next week on the Aces NFL show.